Wait, did he just admit to being a biased partisan hack? Wait, hold on. I must have misheard him. I'm sorry. Because it sounded like he just said, oh, of course I'm not going to be objective. She's my friend. I must not have heard that correctly.
Of course, I'm going to take the side of a personal friend of mine when she comes out with a story about her own sexual assault. This isn't like an online, like, normal thing where I look at all the facts and I make a decision. No.
What? This is a clown world statement. Hello? She's my friend. You think I'm gonna look at the facts? Part of the reasons why people are so comfortable going on and just telling lies is because they've got people like this their lives. And when I say simp, I mean that in an agender sense. Oh my God, you said something happened to you? Yes, queen. Yes, king. I believe you 100%. I'll stand you. Yes, 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 yes. People like him are the reason why people feel so comfortable telling lies like that. Because they'll always have relentless support no matter what.
It's like, even if he's friends with them, like, if he didn't let that completely affect his coverage, I wouldn't care that much. But he was totally uncritical. He didn't say the word allegation once in that whole thing. He treated it all as fact.
SuperMega stopped making content because of this? They quit? Oh, geez. They're done. Good job. You did it, guys.
Can you make it bigger? It's not cutting out.
SuperMega lost, like, how many thousands of subscribers? Like 30,000 already? Almost 40? Yeah, there's a new website that gives live counts of YouTube subscribers, which is pretty awesome. It's funny. I want the sub count to drop to -1 million. Me too, man.
What happened with SuperMega? Listen, Nick made a video about it, but all you need to know is that they're bad. Go to their subreddit. There's plenty of information. Google SuperMega subreddit and go there now. Look at anything. Look at the first post. It's been trending all weekend.
Are you familiar with the YouTube channel SuperMega at all?
I feel like there was some drama, and I tried to read up on it, but I feel like there was so much I couldn't tell me about it.
So much.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna pill you. Okay, so SuperMega, like, popular channel run by these two guys. They kind of were edgier for a while. They were kind of in the sort of like Cumtown, like the dirtbag leftist space, right?
Okay.
And then at some point they kind of drift more to like a socially progressive thing. They're in TikTok comments saying, "I'm so glad everyone in my audience is trans," and whatever. It's, you know, whatever. They're just being nice to their fans, right? They're progressive. They love trans people, much like myself. So that's cool.
I do love trans people. Hold on. I don't know if you're being ironic or not. I do like trans
people. I'm not being ironic. I do like trans people.
Okay, that's good. I just don't like most ones on Twitter, but I like trans people, so f you. But okay, go ahead.
I like them on Twitter, too. I'm not
I don't trust any of you
racist
guys.
with my trans people.
Go ahead.
What do you mean you got... Bro, okay, anyway.
You commentary community guys.
No, it's okay. Well, we're moving on.
Okay, yeah, keep on. All right.
I'm not confirming the allegations. Okay, so the deal is that they have this channel, and then this person comes out. This person's name is Lex Updog. I think she's an OnlyFans person.
Based.
And she makes an accusation saying that their former channel artist named Dawn sexually assaulted her. That Matt and Ryan helped cover it up. 2-hour-long video, as well as a twit-longer statement. She says that Dawn sexually assaulted her. Okay. The specific claim is basically that they were alone in Matt Watson's house, who is one half of SuperMega. And at that point, Dawn starts pressuring her into giving him oral sex. She refuses. He says, I really want it. And she eventually gets broken down, right? It's not a physical, like forcing her, but it is like a clear, like, coercion, right? That's her story, right?
Okay, I don't know if I would call that clear coercion, but okay, go ahead.
From her perspective, she's saying that she was coerced.
Okay. Wait,
you're right.
Was this guy her boss or something?
No. It was just her boyfriend, I guess. Her boyfriend.
Okay, and then does she have a... Oh, wait, they were dating?
She was dating this guy, Dawn, and I believe one of the first times they met up was in Los Angeles. They then go to Matt Watson's house, at which point the alleged sexual assault takes place.
Okay, and is she mentally disabled at all that I should know about? Is she, like, an orphan? Is there, like, under somebody else's care or protection, or...
She is not mentally disabled, no.
Okay, all right. Somebody in chat said that they didn't like your telling of the story, so let me tell the audience that this may not be accurate. But okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, that's fair enough.
Somebody in chat said she said he was physically forcing her.
Okay, so he physically forced her once she was giving oral sex. I think she said that he physically forced her head, like, down really hard, and that made her very uncomfortable.
Okay.
I believe that's what happened, but
okay.
Anyway, so moving on from that,
that's not good. You shouldn't do that, by the way. That's not cool. But, like, is that coercion right? I don't know how to say that, but okay.
Okay. So the sexual assault thing is not something I really want to dispute that much, and the reason why is because I just feel like there's enough from the situation to kind of dissect even without that being something that I want to disprove. So let's just say for the sake of argument, she got sexually assaulted by this Don guy, right?
Okay. Yep.
She then spends a long portion
Don,
of this.
To be clear, Don is one half of SuperMega, right?
No. Don is a channel artist for SuperMega. So he's not even half of it. He's a channel artist, right?
Oh, okay. Jesus. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Her subsequent claim is that Matt and Ryan from SuperMega didn't do anything to stop this guy from basically being employed. She said that she told them that he had sexually assaulted her. They basically did nothing. They were like, whatever, we don't really care. There's this one line she particularly cites where she says that she had a phone call with Matt, and Matt was like, oh, this is my magnum opus. I would never want to hurt my career just because this guy like sexually assaulted you. Like that's one claim she said that he said.
So she had a phone call with Matt. Matt is one half of Super Omega or whatever, right? Okay.
Yes.
And then the guy that sexually assaulted her, quote unquote, is a channel artist for Super Omega, and
name's Dawn.
Dawn. And wait, she doesn't want to ruin her chances, or wait, explain that?
No. According to her, Matt had a call where Matt said, I don't want to ruin my chances with like my channel. I don't want to hurt my reputation.
Okay.
SuperMega is my magnum opus. So as a result, I'm not going to do anything about the situation. That's what her claim was, right? Basically. And that obviously was like,
wait, I don't
understand
that at all, but okay. Because I feel like, wouldn't the answer be, I don't want to take any chances. I'm just going to fire this guy so that I don't risk anything?
Right. So that's what I would naturally say, right? But according to her, that's what he said, right? We're just going over her retelling first, and then I'll bring you to their side.
Okay.
So that happens. She also spends a long portion of this video outlining how basically she was living in the SuperMega office for a while. She's like, the office was really messy, which seems like kind of a...
What is her job again?
She didn't even really work for them. She was just friends with Matt because she was dating Don.
Living in the... Okay, and wait, and Don is the artist guy that assaulted her, right?
Yeah, Don is the artist guy. So at some point
she was at the office. Why?
So I'm gonna go into this. At some point, she was working for them a little bit. She was also friends with this person named Leighton. But at some point, she stops really working for them, and she's just living there, right? She's just living there, and it turns into this whole convoluted story about how she lives there, and the office is messy. This video, in and of itself, there's a lot you can criticize.
Okay.
But I want to get into where things get really, really, really fucking messy for me with the details. And this, I think, the reason why it got so messy because there's just so many things to go over. Okay. Are you familiar with a channel known as NickIsNotGreen?
Nope.
So he's a friend of Hassan, who's a friend of the show, fan of the show, as you know.
Yeah.
They've done a lot of collabs together. They've caught some shit for some of the stuff they've said in those collabs, but
this is the guy the soy curly haired guy that made the thing about banning Sneeko and how unacceptable it was? And
yes, that is the exact same guy.
Oh, okay.
The deal with him is he is friends with Lex, and he's also friends with her boyfriend. He's actually basically best friends with her boyfriend. They make content together. They have a band together. Ethan is a content creator. Okay. He has a commentary channel, very similar to Nick's. And Nick and him, they make videos together. They make stuff together. So Nick, who, keep in mind, is a commentary channel who, I mean, generally as a commentary channel, you're supposed to be like somewhat unbiased, cover allegations critically, like use critical. You're supposed to, I would say, like you're, ideal, perfect world, right? So this guy, he makes a video where he goes over Lex's allegation. And in the beginning, he says, my whole point behind this video is to signal boost her story because I feel like she was sexually assaulted. And he believes her, okay? I think that's fine if he's her friend. There probably is a conflict of interest, there's a conflict of interest there, journalistically, I would say. Like, if you want to cover that, you need to really do your due diligence. Yeah. And where that conflict of interest becomes super apparent is in the fact that half the video is not even about her sexual assault. Half the video is reading off a Reddit post with unsubstantiated claims.
And someone from the SuperMega subreddit put together a stream recap of what she was talking about.
Going over the idea that the people in SuperMega cheat on their girlfriends. They joke about their dead friend. They have a joke in the office about Chuck E. Cheese where his middle name is the N-word. And half the video is about unrelated shit. And in the beginning, he says the whole purpose of this video is to talk about the allegations from Lex. And then half the video is talking about other shit. So Matt and Ryan put forward these responses where they debunk a lot of what was said and they cast a lot of doubt onto it. And they basically put forward the idea that this whole thing was kind of an op set forward to ruin their reputation and hurt them, and that, NickIsNotGreen is doing this very opportunistically. Okay. So Nick then he sees the response. He makes a Instagram story post saying, "It seems that the allegations have really gotten away from Lex's story," and it's like, I wonder why. I wonder why, Nick, because you made a video where half of it was saying that they basically that they or that they say the N-word or stuff like this, which is just like, even if they do that, like, who cares? Who cares? Why is this related to anything? In this video, he's like showing that Matt Watson went to Creator Clash and he got punched out, right? And he's showing like, oh, I'm so glad this guy got punched out.
Rape apologist gets what he deserves, and it shows Matt getting the absolute shit beaten out of him. Let's just let it play a couple more times.
Matt is half of SuperMega.
Oh, he's the other half. And Matt, the reason why he's telling Matt a rape defender is just because he didn't fire the Don guy?
He didn't fire him immediately. They did eventually fire him, and it was over that stuff. They just didn't fire him right away. So at that point, the situation is kind of morphing. As of the video from, there's a video from Matt Watson that comes out that debunks a lot of this. NickIsNotGreen is the only person who makes any kind of response. And his response is basically just to say, like, yeah, I mean, I guess I included a lot of other stuff. But anyway, you guys are still pieces of shit, basically.
Okay.
And his whole first video was horrible, and like basically nobody's talking about it. Like, the way he covered the allegations is totally irresponsible. He completely undermines what his stated original intent was. And on top of that, then you have like him and his friend group, this guy Ethan, who is dating Lex. Okay, this guy Ethan, he's another content creator. He's tweeting out from Matt's Twitter likes. Matt likes this, like, have you seen The Sopranos? Have you seen The Sopranos?
I'm aware. I'm aware of it. Yeah, but go ahead.
Okay, there's a scene where Tony's choking out a rat, right? And Matt just likes this, like, one of these like film Twitter accounts posted a frame of it.
Okay.
So Ethan's like, I can't believe you liked this, tough guy. You're clearly like trying to intimidate this girl. Like, clearly the implication is that he's like liking this as like a message, like, you don't rat on me, I'm SuperMega, bitch.
Okay.
You can't rat on the fact that I covered up rape or whatever. Ethan is willing to believe that Matt Watson liking a tweet about The Sopranos, you're willing to believe that this is evidence that you really believe that him liking this is evidence that he is trying to intimidate the victim. Tough guy over here was liking pics last night of Tony Soprano killing someone who ratted on him. A tweet that came out the same day. It wasn't an old tweet. It was just a tweet he probably saw on his timeline that he liked. You're willing to believe this crazy, batshit, delusional, schizo conspiracy theory.
Sure.
And it's like, it's very clear to me that this entire allegation and like the timing it came out as well was basically an op to ruin these guys' channel, not as any kind of like, you know, genuine retelling of a sexual assault that happened. And it's very like just nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. A few people in the comments have, a few smaller channels
isn't that
have.
like, when you say you can think no one's talking about it, isn't that your job? Aren't you like the commentary community people? Shouldn't you be making videos on it? Yeah.
So you raise an excellent point. So I did do like a 6-hour stream or so going over it. And I just uploaded that to my second channel, actually. And I may do a main channel video. I'm kind of contemplating how I would go about that. But yeah, basically it's just it's a super f***y situation. And I was hoping I could get you hook, line, and sinker with the Hassan connection and get you to like be somewhat interested in the situation and go over it on stream and just give your take. Because I don't know, I just want to feel like I'm not crazy. And you seem like, I don't know, you've been relatively responsible with covering allegations, I would say, in the
Logic's
past.
been talking about this and took a ton of heat from SuperMega stands. Turkey Tom was even on stream with Chud. Were you on stream talking with Chud?
Yeah, I did, yeah. So Chud opened when I talked to him with saying that Lex was a lying whore. I mean, that is...
Wait, which one said Lex was a lying whore?
Chud said that. Chud Logic.
Chud Logic. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, that's a very abrasive way to open, but his opinions were like relatively reasonable.
Let's
he doesn't really
Lex
believe.
Was like, I guess, making it all up. What did she stand to gain from anything?
I mean, clout, a ton of support. You know, getting some kind of like, I don't know, catharsis from watching these people's channels suffer because she and her friend group are convinced that they're horrible people. Something I've neglected to mention up until this point is that these allegations, like all of this happened 2 years ago. Everything regarding the actual sexual assault story, you know, quote unquote or whatever, and Matt and Ryan supposedly covering it up and then, you know, going on to eventually fire him over it. All of that was years ago.
Okay.
Lex was cool with Matt and Ryan until very recently. As recently as January, she was saying she wanted to come to LA and have a barbecue with them.
Here's several texts I received from Lex between November of last year and February of this year. Good luck tonight, Matt. Heart emoji. I'm in Nashville, but I'd like to try to come to a show before tour is over. We should have a cookout when we're all back in town to celebrate. I said, thank you. We'll party hardy soon. On December 17th, guess who lives like 5 minutes away from you now? It's me. Hope you're having a good day. I say, no way. For real? Where at? Are you standing outside my door? She hit me up a couple days later, said, what are you doing? I said, I'm back in Charleston right now. What about you? Then she hit me up the next day, said, I got really stoned and forgot to reply, LMAO. I hope you have a good time with your family. Also, congrats on 1 mil. The next day I replied and said, thank you. Then on my birthday, she texted me, happy birthday, Matt. I love you. Hope your day is great.
Okay, so clearly at that point, she didn't think they were horrible people. Recently, this schizophrenic retard, not literally schizophrenic, I think he has BPD though. He used to work for SuperMega. He was friends with Lex. He was friends with Nick. As far as I know, he was relatively recently fired, and they even gave him like a $20,000 stipend, which they didn't have to do, but they gave him 20 grand when he left.
They felt like they were so good to me. Like Matt and Ryan felt like they were blessing a poor person by handing them money, and but it's 2 months severance. That's genuinely nothing. I'm sorry, yeah, it's money obviously, but 2 months severance is so fucked up. And it wasn't even like they told me we're gonna also try to see if we can extend medical benefits or anything. They just didn't care. They're like, all right, here's 2 months rent.
Okay. And he left because of poor performance as an employee, by the way. This guy starts making a bunch of unsubstantiated claims about SuperMega, saying that they're horrible people and that they're racist and that they're homophobic.
Someone who had been with Leighton and a group of his friends told us that he had been flaunting that if things ever went south with us, he could just easily cancel us. We actually brought this up to Leighton in a meeting that a reliable source had told us this. He swore that he never said that, and he swore that he would never do that. We were still wary after that because that actually wasn't the first time we had heard that from someone. So fast forward to Creator Clash 2023. On the day me and Ryan returned home, Leighton took to Twitter to accuse us of homophobia. We responded to Leighton and provided more context to situations that he had left context out of. We also provided people with the information that he not only propagated a lot of the jokes that he claimed to be offended by, but he participated in the jokes. He even encouraged them. We always wanted Leighton to feel comfortable even when we were making jokes. We never wanted him to feel targeted with any jokes. His tone changed completely the moment he was fired. And as proof of that, here are screenshots from several occasions where I made sure Leighton was comfortable with these types of jokes, to which he always replied yes, and even in one message said it would be weird if we stopped. In this message, Leighton says he sees no issues with the jokes. Here he says he feels more comfortable around us than anyone. And I said, real talk, we absolutely love having you as a part of SuperMega. You've completely revolutionized our company. Leighton responds by saying, I love all the gay jokes you guys throw at me. And I said, you're a crucial member now. If they're ever too much though, just tell us. And he said, I'm so fucking happy to hear that. I fucking love working with you guys. Nah, you guys have never offended me. I think Justin is nervous that it'll come off as homophobic, but I love you guys and the gay jokes. It would be weird if you guys held back, LMAO. I jokingly said, screenshotting all this to cover my ass, which he said LMAO to. Here's another instance where I said, also legit, if we're making too many gay jokes, please tell me. We're always fucking kidding, but I get it if it gets too much, haha. He responded by saying I looked like an F slur. I said, okay, perfect response, LMAO. We're gonna do some awesome shit, man. And he said, I've never felt more at home with a job. This is not to mention the numerous times Ryan and I brought this up in person with him in meetings, making sure he was comfortable with any jokes that were made about sexuality, and he responded with the same sentiment. Something to note is that while Leighton worked at SuperMega, he also accepted and held a full-time position at the merch company, which fulfilled our merch. So after Leighton's call-out post and after we posted our response, he was advised by his employer that starting shit publicly with one of the company's bigger clients was a bad look and a horrible business decision. Leighton made an agreement with his employer that he would not cause any further drama, but he was furious that he could not say more.
He also claims that they sexually harassed him, and the way they would do that, according to him, was that they would just like pull their dick out. So in Matt Watson's response, he shows an instance where during a podcast they recorded, that same kid that accused him of that apparently was hardcore projecting, because they literally have a video of him coming out into the open with his dick out when they're on the podcast doing the same thing.
Okay.
It's true that we did do a lot of crude jackass style bits around the office, and that's apparent in our videos too. But if Leighton ever felt uncomfortable by any of that, he never showed it and he never brought it up. I find it a little ironic that he complained about this, considering, for example, in December we were recording a podcast when he came in unannounced and showed us his cock and balls.
Late 20s, Chuck. Hey, Leighton.
Hey. Whoa.
Somebody's putting on.
Do you see his balls?
Leighton, you want to come take a seat?
Do you see his balls? I don't think it's appropriate for the podcast. You want to wrap yourself in a towel.
That is a three-hander. That is a three-hander.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
He's not lying.
Or before he came around the corner, he stood there for 3 minutes going,
Chuffing his shit.
"You're chuffing it, dude."
And Lex is friends with this person. Keep in mind.
Okay.
So Lex is cool with them up until very recently. She was trying to have a barbecue with Matt and Ryan, and then Leighton gets fired, and suddenly things start falling apart, and everyone's mad at them and calling them horrible people.
Leighton is the dick boy, right?
Leighton is the dick boy, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
It all just, to me, it comes across like a real op. It's like everyone's fine with Matt and Ryan until very recently. Lex is trying to have a barbecue with them in like January, and then all of a sudden they've covered up a sexual assault. All of a sudden they're homophobic, they're racist, which is obviously in the same ballpark as that, right? Everyone needs to say that saying Chucky N-word cheese is in the same ballpark as covering up a rape or something
Trump
like that.
And Tate supporters too, I'm sure. Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's totally wild, and I mean, on one hand, you can, maybe place a little bit of blame on Matt and Ryan for having accumulated this, like, totally parasocial audience that was ready to eat them alive over, like, finding out that they cheat on their girlfriend. I don't know who really cares about that, but, it's just this giant fucking mess. And nobody's really repented for it. Nick did make a response video where he kind of tepidly walked back a little bit of what he said, but not really. He was very half-assed in a way that he didn't really take responsibility for it. He basically maintained that he was right the whole time. Lex has been completely silent apart from making a statement saying she's glad she was heard. Keep in mind, in Matt's video, he calls her like a liar multiple times, basically, and like shows contradictions, and he's like, why even bring this up now, considering the fact you were cool with me until very recently? And she just has totally ignored that. So
wow.
I don't know. It seems very sketchy-wetchy to me. I don't know. And it seems like the people involved really just want to move on. And I mean, like, it's not really my fight, so maybe I should, but it's on my mind a lot, honestly.
That Leighton guy claimed that Ryan misgenders his partner, then made an apology because the partner identifies as gender fluid, so Ryan wasn't misgendering, and then Leighton was assuming shit.
This is a trigger warning right now. This is probably the last big thing that I'm going to say because I don't know if this is out there, but it is so important to me because it proves how terrible a person Ryan can be when it comes to character. And that is because Ryan McGee openly misgenders a trans person in his life that he cares very much about behind their back. I can't tell you how many times I would hear Ryan McGee say, I'm going to go home to my boyfriend. Or I'm going to go fuck this guy. Matt would make the jokes too. This partner is such a sweet person. I didn't know them well. I don't think they ever liked me. So we just weren't ever close. But it broke my fucking heart because I would see this person and I knew they didn't know that the person that they, like, literally their fucking partner is misgendering them all the fucking time. And it literally, like, it makes me so fucking mad to see just blatant transphobia come from those fuckers. And then they turn around and are like, we are so accepting of things. It's fucking wrong. And it's gross.
So Leighton was misgendering them in the accusation of accusing they were misgendering someone. Isn't that crazy? And that's the only thing they responded to, by the way. Afterwards, Leighton did apologize for the misgendering, which, keep in mind, came from an accusation from them of Matt misgendering their partner, or I think, sorry, Ryan misgendering their partner. And Leighton has not responded to any other claims, which, by the way, Leighton, I think, is like a pathological, like, crazy fucking liar.
Jesus.
And is the whole impetus behind all of this starting.
Leighton was extremely disgruntled that we fired him. He felt that it wasn't fair, and he felt like he needed to get even by taking away our platform. I later received anonymous screenshots that were leaked from a Discord server that's just dedicated to hating on SuperMega, the members of which created and spread horrible lies about my ex-girlfriend on Tumblr. They have harassed me for years. Some of them also write underage sexual assault fan fiction. These screenshots detailed the exact situation Leighton was in with his employer. That's how I knew that they were real, because I knew about this agreement, as well as a plan to get other people to speak out against us, so Leighton would then be free to cancel us himself. The Discord message reads as follows. Leighton works for a big merch company called, I'm going to go ahead and just censor the name, which he was working with while working for SuperMega. And when all the homophobia allegations came out, a big billionaire sponsor for said company told them that they need to drop SuperMega as a client and fire Leighton. Said company refused to fire Leighton and still kept SuperMega on as a client. If we can get SuperMega in enough hot water that the sponsor wants to drop them again without getting Leighton fired, then Leighton can come out and say whatever he wants about them. We just need a piece of gossip that's a big enough deal that a sponsor will want to drop SuperMega. Our friend is friends with Too Mad, and Too Mad hates Matt, so he might have some dirt on him. Then another message reads, most importantly, that Leighton wants to cancel SuperMega, but he needs someone else to come forward first. Another thing is that Leighton somehow has one of Marvelous' screenshots of her conversations with Ryan, and was thinking about using that as leverage to cancel him, but it's not enough. And, Discord user, of course he needs your permission first. Will you be willing to come forward, even anonymously, with your experiences with Ryan? This is all from April, right after Leighton made his initial statement. And because I wondered if I'd ever have to use this, I emailed this to myself as evidence, which you can see in this video. I am opening up the email and showing the date as proof.
Like, it truly is. Nobody's disavowed, like, the provable lies that they said from Lex's camp. It's just, it's super crazy. Like, it's super fucking crazy.
Super mega crazy, one might say.
Dude, I fucking regret. Never mind. No, I just made that all up.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what I said. No, but yeah, it's like a super just insane situation. I was hoping I could get you to react to the shortest video about it on stream. It's only half an hour long. And I was hoping that I could get you to watch this and give your take. I have a feeling you're going to rage at it, which may be bad for your own mental health, but the chat would probably love it.
Is it your video?
No. It's by Nick. It's not my video.
Fuck. I feel like there's a thing where if I'm going to watch it, I'm going to have to like deep dive into this because I'm going to have to start fact-checking a lot of claims, no? Like, am I going to rage at it without, I didn't know any of these people until like 5 minutes ago.
To be honest, you can rage without even fact-checking because it's a blatantly like just fucking bad video.
Fuck it, link me. I'll watch it for a little bit, okay?
Okay, buddy.
All right, somebody said, Destiny, this is the vid.
I don't know which one they sent you. This is the one that I would have sent you, though. Titled, SuperMega is full of horrible people. That's the title.
Following content may contain suicide or topics of self-harm.
Yeah, so the reason that's in there is because there was one claim that... Here's some more fucking lore dump context shit. SuperMega used to be another YouTube channel, which had 3 members. It was Matt, Ryan, and another member. That member ended up killing himself quite a while ago. And one of the claims was that they would make fun of his death in private all the time, which, I mean, I feel like considering it's their friend, it's kind of their right to do that.
Yeah, why do people do that shit with me too? My best friend killed himself when he was like 21, and I make jokes about it as well. Like, I don't understand why people think they have a right to like intervene on your potential like style of humor or whatever relating to if it's your dead friend. Like, Jesus Christ. I always think it's really crazy people do it, but whatever.
But I think that they were really the accusers were really pandering to the fans because the fans feel very sad about that guy's death to this day. So they were like trying to get like the fans on their side, and I mean, to their credit, it worked.
All right, well, okay, yeah. I'm gonna watch this 36-minute video or until I get bored. We'll see.
Okay, all right, good luck, buddy. Have a good one.
Love you.
Today's video is going to be a little bit different than normal. It's not really about a drama or any like internet tomfoolery. It's actually a much more serious story that involves someone that I'm personally friends with, someone who goes by the name Lex or Lex Updog online. And she's also the partner of one of my very good friends, Ethan is online, and that's kind of how I first began learning about this situation. So today's story has to do with a YouTube channel by the name of SuperMega, who is kind of in the circle of YouTubers that a lot of you probably know. And if you don't remember Matt and Ryan, you might remember them from the first Creator Clash, where they both had the shit beaten out of them.
Wow.
And on Thursday, Lex, who was a former friend of SuperMega that started working with them a couple years ago through making art for their thumbnails, came out with a video over 2 hours long that detailed her experience with Matt Watson and Ryan McGee from the YouTube channel SuperMega. This also included experiences with multiple employees that were hired by SuperMega, including another channel artist by the name of Don and a producer that worked closely with them by the name of Jim. Now, above anything else that we're talking about in today's video, my main objective for this video is to lift up Lex's voice and allow her to be heard about something that she felt unsafe talking about for a very long time.
So brave.
I urge you guys to watch her video and hear out what she has to say so you can know just how gross the details of this story are. There's a lot of sensitive information in this video that it would be very hard for really anybody to talk about, and just
we're gonna be even harder listening to it. Whoa, yeah.
Despite that, Lex was able to talk about a lot of personal experiences that really should never need to be this public.
Why are they being canceled? Because they covered up sexual assault. That is why. Nick did a great video about it.
So about 2 years ago, Lex was in a long-distance relationship with Don, who was, again, another channel artist for SuperMega, and she met him for the first time in Los Angeles a couple of years ago. Don lived in Germany and Lex lived in Tennessee, but they made a trip out to SuperMega in Los Angeles, and the first night that they stayed there, Lex and Don actually both stayed at Matt Watson's house while in Los Angeles.
Who joined?
He never says allegation.
Wait, how
that
the
allegation
did you
is
get
not used once.
in here? Where am I right now? Oh, I'm
Dude,
still
you were just
our
in
call.
my. You were still just in my call, so I just joined. Yeah.
Wait, do you have perms for my Discord? Hold on.
I'm actually not even in it.
Why would you not be in the Destiny GG Discord?
Dude, I heard. Never mind. I'll join. Let's go.
Okay, sorry. Go. I'll give you perms later. Okay, what are you saying? All right, go ahead.
I was just saying. Notice how nothing in this video was framed as an allegation whatsoever. It's all framed as truth.
Well, right now we haven't even gotten to anything controversial yet, have we?
He
just said that they had a trip, they were at some place. I don't think he's even gotten to an allegation yet, has he?
No, but the entire video is framed like this happened for sure.
Spoiler
100%.
alert. Okay, we're getting there, all right?
Okay, buddy.
All
okay.
Right. Okay, love you.
Also, let me in the server.
What do you mean let you in? Oh, hold on. Are you banned? Is that what you meant to say?
I'm not banned. I just need an invite.
You need an invite? Can't you? Here, discord.g. Doesn't this work?
Yeah, look, it did. There you go. Can I get the perms? Buddy?
Christ, hold on. Server.
Whoa.
Members. Oh my god, I just got a great idea. Who does my bot programming? I feel like if you have a Discord account linked to a YouTube channel with over like 500,000 subs, you should automatically get the notable perm. That must be a way.
True.
That must be a way to program that.
Listen, famous privileges. That's real.
Turkey. What the fuck is your name? Do you like Thanksgiving a lot, or?
It's just Turkey Tom, bro.
No, I mean like why?
Oh. It's just I made my YouTube channel when I was like 13. It was my nickname at summer camp. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like it's just been that. Why is your name Destiny?
Because I made it when I was 9. I thought Destiny was a cool name.
Okay, well when I was at summer camp, I had a turkey sandwich, and everyone had a fucking
There
name.
you go. That's what I needed.
And they were like turkey sandwich or turkey. Okay, well there you go.
Okay, cool.
Now
That's
you
all
know
you had to say.
the
Yeah,
origin.
you like turkey sandwiches.
And I do like Thanksgiving quite a bit, actually.
Okay, that's cool. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah.
And that first night, Don sexually assaulted Lex.
Especially this particular situation, I was like, no, I don't want to.
I'm not gonna say anything. I am gonna say something. Be careful. Fringe is always a warning flag, guys. That does count as a red flag. Be careful, okay? Always be careful.
Relax.
Especially this particular situation, I was like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to do this. And he kept telling me, like, just do it. And like multiple times while he was like trying to force my head down. And he's like way bigger than me. I don't know. I was really freaked out after that. So
okay, god damn it, hold up.
Eventually he let me go, but I just kind of shut down and just went with like whatever else he wanted.
Is the original video cut like this, or is Green is not Nick making these cuts? That's really important.
Wanted that night.
Even after this situation, Don.
Because if he cut that video, what I just heard was a small girl was in a room with a guy who was physically forcing her and her mouth. That's what I just heard. Okay? Now, was the original video like that, or was that cut to sound that way? I'm super curious. Somebody link me the original.
Attempting to physically force me to give him oral, and the only reason why it didn't work was because I like physically like pushed him away multiple times. When you're in a long distance relationship with someone, you have to get to know someone. Like, I feel like I'm a pretty direct person, and aside from what the situation is like turned me into, I guess, but I feel like when this happened, I was like, especially this particular situation,
okay, hold on. How long ago did this happen? So she didn't even actually blow him, and she's still crying about it? Is that insensitive? Do I sound like a psychopath saying that? Was this 2 years ago? You almost gave a guy a blowjob? Did she blow him? I can't tell. I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll get there.
Calling the cops is like what someone would say, right? But like, it's a guy from Germany. How is that gonna work? Like, I know that he can go to jail, but like actually like getting someone in trouble would just be a whole like thing. I didn't want to deal with that. And it was at my friend's house, and I was scared that like somebody may have like would like find his address or something if I like called. Like, I don't know. All these were just thoughts like after too, because in the moment I was just like, I kind of just shut down. I was freaked out.
If you are listening for my 4% female audience, okay? If you're ever with a guy and he's making you uncomfortable, whatever you do, okay? These are like the potential ways to avoid getting assaulted, okay? Number one is shake your head back and forth playfully. Say, no, haha, but give a little giggle to say you're kind of uncomfortable. Pull back a little bit, but not like you're actually afraid, but more like you're kind of like teasing a cat. Make sure to ultimately go along with whatever they want. Make sure at some point that you shut down and continue to do whatever they want. Just whatever you do, never, ever, 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 never, ever, don't ever say no or stop, because they will kill you, okay? So just whatever you're doing, if you're ever in like a sexual circumstance where you're like, you're not really comfortable going forward, just never, ever, ever say no or stop. That's just, don't ever do that. Why would you? Don't ever do that. There are like 52 other vague ways that you can navigate the situation that ultimately results in a dick ending up in some part of your body. Don't ever just say no or stop. Never do that, okay? Wait, I'm really confused by what you mean. Yeah, sure. Let me say this. Let me give this piece of advice, okay? Or in non-ironic mode, okay? 99% of the time, Destiny, no, I don't want to do this. Twice in figures is absolutely no, come on. Here's what I believe, okay? No, actually, I'm sorry. I don't believe this. I know this to be true, okay? I've already told you guys 70% of you are virgins. I don't care about most of your opinions, okay? If you're with a guy, he's doing things that make you uncomfortable, extricate. Move yourself from the situation. Remove yourself from the situation and say, hey, we're done, okay? The guy's making you uncomfortable. He's already a piece of shit. Leave him, dump him, and get out of his life, okay? Don't do any vague shit. Because the guy's already a retard. The guy's already probably a half rapist. Why? Don't plant seeds in his mind like, oh no, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable, blah, blah, blah. Because what the guy hears, when you say some shit like, I don't think I'm comfortable with this situation, what he hears is like, oh, okay, she just wants to do it a little bit differently. Or, oh, maybe she just needs like a little bit of time. Or, oh, blah, 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 blah. Just say no and leave, okay? On the flip side, I'll give the critique to guys, but again, most of you guys are virgins anyway, and then the other 20% you're probably rapists, okay? Because apparently every guy is, right? If a girl seems undecisive, stop, chill. If you've already got a girl that's willing to, why the f are you trying to rape her? Just stop. Don't be a weirdo. If you wait, if you be patient, if you want to reverse Zodiac killer mind anyway, just make her feel safe and chill. I don't know why people get so pushy anyway. You've heard me talk about my experiences, okay? Literally 50% of guys I've hooked up with are literal rapists. I don't know if did I tell the story before? There's a guy I hooked up with like a month or two ago. Literally in the middle of us hooking up, this guy starts shoving poppers in my face. I'm like, I hear the thing because there's like something that he breaks, and all of a sudden he's shoving my face. Like, bro, are you retarded? But yeah, like as soon as that happened, I'm like, hey, no, I'm not doing fucking drugs with you. You retarded? Are you crazy? I'm not doing this shit. But I've never like not right now. I don't think I'm gonna do that. No, like, no, hey, are you retarded? You do that shit again, I'm leaving. You're crazy, bro. No, but like, yeah, nothing is vague, nothing is indirect, nothing is like, well, maybe blah, blah, blah. You just say no, and then you back up and you leave if you want to. 99% of people just let you walk out. They're not gonna hold you down and like violently rape you. Like, that's just like an insane bullshit story that feminists tell other feminists on the internet because they're retarded, okay? That won't happen. 99% of the time, 99.9% of the time, people will let you leave.
Context: for a while, Don had been trying to get a green card to live in the U.S. And since we were dating, he had for a while been hinting that like it would be easier if we just got married for him to come live in the U.S. And it had been going on for a bit now. And that day, Don had been talking about it with me. He'd been asking SuperMega about filing papers to get a green card. And Matt, at least I know Matt, I'm sure Brian too, SuperMega in general, had no interest in doing that for him. But they never, up until this point, never told him no straight out. Never was like, yeah, we're not doing that. They would just give reasons why it was really hard or really expensive to do that. So once again, he asked Matt, and him and I were walking up the stairs to Matt's living room, and Matt responded something along the lines of like, why don't you guys just get married? To which Dawn seemed like reciprocal to the idea. I don't know how to describe what it feels like to have someone go from not interested in talking to you like on a daily basis, like one-on-one, or like spending like alone time with you, to like still being very sexually interested in you. Like they still want to have like nudes from you and stuff, and all that fun stuff that having a girlfriend is, but not actually like talking to you. It feels weird to go from that to, after hearing that conversation, just the amount of affection and like references to that. It was a lot to process, and I had no alone space to do that in. It was a lot. I kind of find it rough.
I can't. I'm aging out of giving a fuck about any of this shit. It all just sounds like 15-year-olds. Like, the conservatives are right. You guys shouldn't be having casual sex. Get your dads to sign up partners. I can't. These people just don't have the responsibility to do anything. This is also why I think like age of consent is stupid. We should just let 12-year-olds fuck, because that's the level of intelligence and emotional maturity that I'm hearing of. This sounds like a 12-year-old. Like, well, a guy asked me to get married, and he's trying to get nudes from me, and I just don't really know how I feel about it. What do you mean you don't know how to feel? You don't know how to feel about a guy that is apparently kind of raping you and is asking to get married? What do you mean you don't know how to? What do you mean you don't know how to feel about it? That's not something that a 25-year-old says. I don't understand. I don't understand any of it. I'm not sure. I don't get it. I don't get it. Fuck. I'm aged. I think I'm super aged out of all of this. I don't understand any of it anymore.
I was sitting next to Don on the couch talking to him. I asked him to look something up, and he pulls out his phone next to me. And the first Google like past search result before he like starts typing in too many words is an artist sex worker's, like a mutual of ours, OnlyFans leak. She's kind of a similar build to me, so I'm like double hurt because my self-esteem has been destroyed the night I got there.
I'm done. I'm gonna grab a Red Bull, bro. She's the kind of girl that posts on the Am I Ugly or whatever. I don't get any attention from guys, while her Instagram shit is literally crashing Zuck's servers because of how many people are trying to thirst at her DMs. Like, bro. Back to the story. Hold on. We're going backwards. Okay. Back to this. Destiny, you're acting really insensitive to rape stories, actually assaulting. There's no set definition of essay, and one experience of a victim is real for the victim. Sorry, does not fit your narrow definition of penetration and anal rape. Yeah. If this is how you honestly navigate these situations, you should not be having casual sex. Sex is a really big responsibility. There's a lot of stuff going on. One is the pregnancy aspect, which is a really huge, life-altering medical thing, and a new creation of a human being, arguably the coolest, the most insane, the most complicated thing, lowest state of entropy, I think, in the universe, arguably, is like the human brain in terms of like level of complexity, blah, 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 blah. And women make that, okay? So pregnancy, it's like the biggest thing that we do is one potential side effect of sex. STDs and diseases are side effects of sex. And there's just like a huge emotional, psychological like thing that's going on when you're sharing that much of a body with another person. It's not just like it's not a back massage. It's not a high five. It's not a handshake. Sex is a pretty big thing. There's a lot going on there. You can practice it recreationally the same way that you can race cars and you can go skydiving and you can do scuba diving, but there's like practice, there's training, there's stuff you got to do to be ready for it. These people that just jump into this world of casual sex and are fucking like, well, I was 24 and he asked me if I wanted to get married and the guy was asking nudes from me and I don't know if he liked me, blah, blah, blah. Like, what the bro? Did age of consent should be 25?
Boundaries with Lex. Subscribing to her OnlyFans after they broke up, he continued to tell people that they were dating each other.
Is that wrong to subscribe to a girl's OnlyFans? He's supporting small businesses. Wait, what do you mean?
He made characters in his art based off of her, and he even threw around the idea of marrying Lex so he could get a green card into the United States to work for SuperMega, and even Ryan and Matt both pushed this idea onto Lex.
Once again, he asked Matt, and him and I were walking up the stairs to Matt's living room, and Matt responded.
You're so primed, it's kind of crazy how you're handling this. I will reiterate it on the other side, and I'll say, like, the guy involved sounds like kind of a loser piece of shit. So I'm putting a lot of the onus on the woman here. I do agree with that. I mean, like the guy sounds like a loser. I mean, or he sounds like a pushy, loser. I don't know what I'm gonna say. He is. But like, she's making the video. If the guy was making a video justifying his decisions, if he was like, yeah, I wasn't sure if she wanted it or not, so I thought if I pushed her a little bit, she would, and I wasn't, then I was saying, bro, why not just fucking chill? Why are you such a retard? Like, calm down. Like, this girl's probably half your size. Actually, it's the internet. This girl's probably 1/4 your size. Just slow down.
Bonded something along the lines of like, why don't you guys just get married? To which Dawn seemed like reciprocal to that idea.
Lex felt uncomfortable after this situation telling anybody about the sexual assault because she was a victim of this emotional and physical manipulation in the past and has dealt with harassment.
Okay. Emotional manipulation is like every form of like a guy trying to get laid. And like guys are like quote unquote manipulative, but I mean like what are we calling like manipulation versus just like people trying to get laid?
Lex confronted Dawn months later about how he assaulted her, and Dawn basically did not dispute any of what happened and replied to Lex saying that he did in fact experience the same thing she was talking about. He does remember doing these things to her.
So I said, you remember the first night when you were like pushing my head down and I was telling you no? Yes, he says, basically. He like didn't dispute anything that I said. He was just saying yes. And I was like, that's sexual assault, right? Like, you can't do that to people. Like, that wasn't
Is there a leak of this particular convo? Like, there are also, I wish we just didn't have, I don't like any of these words anymore. Sexual assault, rape. It's like it too hard tries to shoehorn into a box. Like a bunch of like sexual interactions are really complicated. Is there a record of this conversation? 'Cause, like, there are ways where if I was like making out with a girl and I'm not sure if she wants to do anything or not, and I'm like, ugh, we can argue that's sexual assault. That's pretty bad, maybe. I don't know. What do we call it? A sexual assault? Maybe, right? But if she's like starting to go down on you and you kind of put your hand down there and you kind of like push her head down a little bit, like, is that sexual assault? I don't know. I've had a lot of girls sexually assault me if that's the case. A lot of girls that put hands on you and kind of move you around without necessarily asking first. But like, is it sexual assault?
I've been like really like messed up that you did that. I like have to like get better from this. This is something that I'm like having to recover from because it
also like if you're having this much of a problem like recovering from this type of like adverse sexual experience, like I said, I think there needs to be way less casual sex. Or at least among these like internet autistic kids. Like I think there needs to be way less casual sex. Go to Sunday school, figure some other shit out because like they're not ready for it. This doesn't sound like a person who's ready to be having casual sexual relationships. I think to some extent, I think you should be able to laugh about weird, stupid guys like this. Like I've had girls who we've chatted about like weird, stupid guys like this. I laugh and joke about my weird, stupid experiences with guys and sometimes girls to happen. But like if this type of shit is traumatizing you, or like, oh, the guy I was kind of uncomfortable when he was pushing my head down, like bro, you need to take a step back and you need to reassess your individual ability to set boundaries and borders and reinforce those in the heat of the moment before you engage in casual sexual experiences, because you're setting yourself up to just be, you're like a factory, right? You're just like setting yourself up to get over and over and over and over again and get like infinitely traumatized by it.
So I say all this and he says, so does that mean you're breaking up with me? And I was like, what? Yeah. To me, it was like, yeah, no. And that out of everything I said.
Wait, it was like, yeah, no. Wait, what?
And he says, so does that mean you're breaking up with me? And I was like, what? Yeah. To me, it was like, yeah, no. And that out of.
I feel like that's like this entire story. What?
Everything I said was both the shortest response I had to say, or like the shortest thing I had to say to him, and the most devastating.
Lex told Matt and Ryan about this for the first time.
What is the type of shit girls do to push boundaries? And my personal experience, and be careful because everybody selects for different types of partners, girls tend not to push boundaries as much because I think girls are generally conditioned to be more submissive and generally conditioned to be more people pleasers. So they kind of just go along with what the guy wants. That's why a lot of women don't orgasm during sexual experiences, because they're like more focused on the guy. They're like not taking care of themselves, etc. So I think it tends to be more rare that a woman will push boundaries. There might be some, but like in the at this point 150 or 200 experiences that I've had, I think that like for girls, I've had like 2. There's been like 2 girls that I think I've been truly like, bro, chill. Most of the uncomfortable situations with women are going to be dumb things like they lift up too much when they're riding you, or they're just like bad at something. Like they use teeth when they give head. What about the Nebraska catfish girl? Listen, that was my fault. I wasn't ready for it. But you know what? I will bite the bullet on it. Listen, if you catfish me as a big girl, f it, dude. I'll go through with it because I'm a man. That's what we do. And I did go through it. I ate that girl out. I f that girl. I came twice for that whale bitch. I didn't spend the night because I couldn't bring myself to do that. I could not spend the night. But I went through it like a champion. I saw it through to the end. Okay? She got me. She got me good. If you're still listening out there, Iowa girl that I saw on the Reddit that you drove 2 hours to hook up with me, I did go through with it. And you know what? That was my fault. I should have asked for more pictures and more angles. Not even a girl trying to give you a rim job? No, I've never had a girl do anything like that before. But let me qualify, even though nobody cares about my qualifications. Because of the space I hang out with, because of the things I talk about, because the girls, especially now that reach out to me, it's probably less likely that I'm gonna run into a girl that will be like rapey or pushy boundaries. So it might be like club girls or party girls or whatever. Maybe they're more crazy. That might be the case, you know? Destiny, does nobody in your pool of hookups have this scale of immaturity? I feel like this is uncomfortably common. No! Yeah, or yes. No, it is. Wait, there was a part I was saying no to that. A lot of the people that I hook up with, not a lot, especially because it's younger women that tend to reach out to me. I would say that probably like 10 to 20% of women could theoretically be like this woman in terms of maturity. But the difference is as a guy, if a woman is even, okay, I hate using this term because it's been cringified on the internet, okay? But what you should be looking for is enthusiastic consent. If I'm hooking up with a girl, it's not because I'm so desperate to get my dick wet that I'm gonna like take any path I can to get inside of her body, right? I'm only having sex with her because she really wants to have sex with me, which means that she's super into it. If the girl's not super into it, or if she's not feeling it, or she seems a little bit, you know, maybe out of her head, a little bit dissociated, a little bit like not, whatever, we'll just chill. We'll watch a movie, take a break, we'll go get something to eat. We might even at all. With almost every single girl I've ever hooked up with, I usually make it like explicitly clear. Even if I fly somebody out, I usually make it explicitly clear in the DMs, like, hey, if for whatever reason you're here, you're uncomfortable, if you want me to get you in the hotel room, I can do it. Or if you just want to like hang out, go get food or whatever, that's cool too, we can do that. I've said that with almost every girl that I've ever, that's been in this apartment, that I've hung out with or whatever. There's no reason to push. So even if I am with a girl that is like this, there's not gonna be, this is why even when Mr. Girl tried out, I mean, every other person thinks I'm a rapist, tries to like out me on this shit, there's never gonna be a story like this because I'm not pushing in, I'm not leaning in on a girl and trying to pressure her to me if she seems like she's uncomfortable, which that should be your job as the guy, because the girl is, anytime you're in a situation with a girl, she's implicitly kind of like taking more risks because she's the one that's always putting herself, ignoring all the social factors between body count and blah, 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 just in terms of like physical safety factors, the girl tends to be the one taking more risks in the engagement in terms of like getting hurt, in terms of getting overpowered, in terms of like negative side effects between STDs and rape. So yeah, as a guy, like if you want to be the masculine protector or some bullshit, like you have to have a little bit of ownership over the situation. Like, oh, well, if I think she's uncomfortable, I'm just gonna like chill a little bit. So yeah, it might be common that a lot of girls are like this, but if you're like just not fucking retarded as a guy and you have a little bit of social awareness and a little bit of empathy for the other party and a little bit of recognition of the disparity between the power of both parties, yeah, you should be fine in these situations anyway. Just don't be fucking crazy about it.
And she felt like they were asking about a lot of specific details that made her feel uncomfortable.
I was getting asked about like how things happened and stuff, like very inquisitively when I was on the phone with Ryan. And that was the one thing that I thought was weird, because if I believed someone, I wouldn't be asking that many questions. I'd just be like, you know, I don't need graphic detail.
It never really seemed like they...
So basically saying all the blame is on men? No, this is the same take that I gave in the edited Farah video, where like the blame can be 100% men or the blame can be 100% women. It just depends how you look at it. But the reality is the blame is on both parties. Women are generally conditioned to be too passive, so they won't give you firm no's, which leads guys that are dealing with women that won't give firm no's trying to guess when like a maybe is a yes, a blah, blah, blah. And then the issue is also for guys that aren't looking for firm yeses, that are just like trying to push and lean into and pressure and whatever they can to get the thing that they want, right? The issue is on both sides, like engaging in like the most suboptimal prisoner's dilemma behavior where they're both like turning each other into the cop and each other over, right? That's like the issue, yeah.
They were worried about the sexual assault and about having an employee or a person under the roof of Matt's house who is a predator. Matt and Ryan took multiple days to respond to her at certain points and made her feel like the situation wasn't a priority to them, along with making it obvious that Matt and Ryan were talking about Don and Lex behind the scenes without immediately letting him go from the company. Not only that, but without kicking him out of Matt's house.
I personally think him and Ryan did lots of talking before he decided to call me back. I felt them downplaying it in real time, but I was across the state, like 5 hours away, and could do nothing about it. So that's when I decided I needed to be there. Matt had known since, or at least I told him, May 25th that I would be in town on the 14th. On the 13th at 9 p.m., he messages me this. Hey, can't...
Wait, there are logs here? Hold on.
Or at least I decided I date. Like, I felt them... Ryan did lots of talking before he decided to call me back. I felt them...
It was this again, LeMail. What? Apparently Don is telling people y'all were vague with him and didn't say why he got fired. Sigh, he can just fade from view, to be honest. He gone foul beast. Also, the 2 months I wasted there, my brother in Christ, you chose to be here.
Downplaying it in real time, but I was across the state, like 5 hours away, and could do nothing about it. So that's when I decided I needed to be there. Matt had known since, or at least I told him, May 25th that I would be in town on the 14th. On the 13th at 9 p.m., he messages me this. Hey, can't wait to see ya. Just an update. Dawn...
Wait, so do they all agree that Dawn sexually assaulted her? I feel like that agreement hasn't been reached. Am I crazy? Because, or if it has, then this guy texting her, is this one of the Super Omega people? Then this guy texting her is fucking retarded.
Is staying at the office with Rav right now. I did not know what the fuck to say, so all I could say is, what should I do? Oh, whatever you want. I was just updating you where Dawn was. My place is full at the moment, unfortunately. Texting me hours before I gotta be there that he just sent him to the place I'm staying at.
When Lex was on the phone with Matt, he mentioned that this year has sucked because so much bad stuff keeps happening to SuperMega, which, if you know anything about them, they have had a few controversies in the past. And Matt told Lex that SuperMega was his magnum opus and that he would hate if anything happened to it. Magnum opus being a phrase that Matt would use several times when talking about the YouTube channel.
And then he says something insane that he would go on to repeat all summer to multiple people. He said to me after I told him about his friend that sexually assaulted me, his friend and employee, he said, SuperMega's my magnum opus, and I would hate for something to mess it up. He said that multiple times. I remember I was sitting on like the curb of the parking lot of where I was staying at the time, outside, just like staring, because I never...
Okay, let's read this. I can't believe you're roping me into this stupid shit. I apologize to everyone upset again, especially the likes what happened in the past. I'm going to clarify a few things about the post I made and some of the other things that have been said. My previous post had some poor wording, and I'm trying to better fix things today. But me and my person, Lex and I discussed many times about being intimate with each other, and that we had talked about sexual boundaries in bed. My intention was never to hurt her. I shouldn't have tried to ask her again, even if it was just twice. I didn't know how she felt at the time, since the rest of the night included discussion on proper behavior and consensual intimacy. This mutual intimacy continued until we both left LA, and we even continued talking online frequently after the trip. I'm not saying that I should be excused for what I did, because I clearly shouldn't, but it was never my intention to harm her in any way. I tried to apologize for the night it happened, the night we broke up, the night when I went home via Discord. I suppose SuperMega did it. I had no idea of their actions recently. I was given no indication that she'd be coming to either SuperMega office or Matt's house on both occasions. It was never my intention to get upset with these events. Most stuff I mean, kind of girl. I don't know. Based off okay. Wow.
Ever in a million years would have expected Matt, my friend Matt, to say something like that to me. It's like when someone says like, hey, your friend assaulted me, that friend happens to be a coworker, can I not see him? And you say, this job is my magnum opus multiple times. There's like, you just like don't care about people.
Multiple friends of his and people in his social circle have talked about how Matt has used this phrase when talking about his channel, despite the fact that it's really not something to be that proud of. Don continued to live and stay at SuperMega's office in Los Angeles, even when Lex would come to visit. In one instance, she was actually at the SuperMega office and had to hide in the bathroom because Don showed up unannounced. Months after the fact, Don continued to hang out around SuperMega, and even when they finally let him go...
Hold on, was it true, though, that they had continued to date for a year after... this quote-unquote assault happened? So, like, she was too scared to even be in the same room as him, but she dated him after... I don't understand that at all, but...
They never told their audience why he was fired. Not only this, but after letting Don go, he actually...
Long distance? Okay.
Actually tweeted out to SuperMega fans, asking if anyone had a place in Los Angeles for him to stay. And without Matt and Ryan actually making a statement about why Don was let go from the company, people really didn't know if there was something bad that happened. A SuperMega fan could have responded to Don's message and allowed him to stay at their place.
Okay. Should it be the case that all of this is made public? Should you have to say that if you're not doing like a criminal investigation? Like, let's say that somebody, like, if somebody accuses August of, like, raping them or sexually assaulting them, and I'm like, fuck, I don't know, it looks kind of bad, and I let go of August, should I really publicly state that, like, yeah, I'm doing this because he got accused? Like, I feel like that's some shit where, like, if there's an actual criminal investigation and we get, like, some convictions or something, then sure. But if it's literally just, like, a he said, she said, and we don't know, like, is it really on you to destroy that person's life then? Is that fair?
Not knowing that they have a predator in the same room as them.
Damn.
Lex would then confide in the producer of SuperMega, Jim, about being sexually assaulted by Don, only to have Jim begin to flirt with her the same night, and ended up kissing Lex without her consent, and even bringing her into another room where he kissed her again right after.
I need like way more okay, here's another thing, and I understand like journalism is dead. Even real life, apparently, if we go to those Twitter files, people. Why would you not, if you're making videos on this, actually, fuck this green cuck guy, okay? Green is whatever, or green Nick, not cuck, I'm sorry. If you're gonna do videos like this, why not reach out to the other side for comment? This is what I got those Twitter file guys on, where they're like, oh, the FBI did this. Okay, did you try to contact the FBI for comment on this? Did you try to reach out to see if they had a statement on this? Like, why would you not reach out and ask these guys, hey, what's your side of the story here? Hey, how do you explain this? Hey, just show me some evidence of this. Why would you just retell something you've heard from one side?
She explained to him that Don sexually assaulted her in Matt's house.
Listens to my sexual assault story and then makes out with me. Like, at this rate, I'm just kind of stun locked. I had no idea what he's doing. I don't know if there's even any other people in the place. I think there was 2 other people. I think Matt and Rav were still there. So he like gets up at some point after like putting me in a chokehold a few more times and kissing. He only kissed me a couple times, but he put me in a chokehold for a while and it was very uncomfortable. He like gets up and
were they having a WWF party? What?
I had no idea what he's doing. I don't know if there's even any other people in the place. I think there was 2 other people. I think Matt and Rav were still there. So he like gets up at some point after like putting me in a chokehold a few more times and kissing. He only kissed me a couple times, but he put me in a chokehold for a while and it was very uncomfortable. He like gets up and then goes to the office and he's like, come here. I don't even remember thinking anything. I was literally just like confused. And because when he said,
what are you confused about? What is happening? Are you just like wandering the world, a lost child?
That he was in the office, but he was in the closet. And when I came over to him, because I was just fucking, I was like, why in my head, I'm thinking, why is this guy just went to the office closet? Like,
I feel like you need a caretaker. I feel like these people should go to the state and somebody should push for some sort of like permanent, is it governorship or is it, what do you call it when somebody loses like their adult autonomy and somebody else has permanent like guardianship? Or is it guardianship over somebody? This like person just shouldn't be allowed on their own to do anything. Somebody should have like permanent, I think it's guardianship, conservatorship. Like it sounds like this person just can't do anything. They just can't be on their own or do anything, I guess. Like that would be my takeaway from this.
The office where like everybody has their computers and there's like a coat closet and you just go in there and stand in the doorway and give me a kiss again. Like I didn't even have like a reaction. I just didn't know what the fuck that was.
Months later, Lex and Rav, who is a music them homeless with Matt and Ryan.
Oh, am I like a perma? What's the opposite of a perma virgin? Perma horny person? If a girl is calling to me and she's like, hey, come here, and she's in the closet, my assumption is that we're gonna fuck right there. I mean, if a girl messages me like, hey, do you want to get drinks? My assumption is we're that night. Well, like, if a girl is in the closet and she's like, hey, come over here. My assumption is like, hold on, let me go get a condom. Psych. More like, let's roll the dice, baby. Why would you, I don't know. Never mind. Who knows? I don't know, dude. I don't know anything.
At the time, went through a series of events that left them homeless in Los Angeles while trying desperately to find a place to live. A lot of these details about how all of this happened were in Lex's video. Obviously, I wish I could cover even more, but that's her story to fully tell, and I still insist.
Why would he, God, he's such a fucking loser. Look at how he phrases it. Like, he's either too lazy or he just doesn't want to waste the time in the video to, which is fine. I don't have time to go over that here. That's fine. It's their story to tell. Wait, and the sexual assault wasn't her story to tell? Why would that be her story to tell, but this is your story to tell? Why would you even virtue signal that way? Like, oh my God.
That you guys check it out. After staying at the SuperMega office while trying to find a place, Matt, Ryan, and Jim constantly pressured Lex and Rav to leave their office while downplaying all of the horrible circumstances that led to their homelessness.
Wait. Hold up. I don't know the situations. Hold up. I don't know the situations. I don't know, and I could be wrong. I could always be wrong about a lot of things. He just said, pressured them to leave the office. Is this an office where they had been staying rent-free for months? Or were they paying rent to stay there? Because that doesn't really sound like that ridiculous of a thing to say, hey, they got offered money to leave. Okay.
Lex said she...
Destiny, how do we call out these shitty male allies publicly? I don't know. Honestly, from the shit that I've seen from other women, I don't know if this guy does it, but there are unironically, I used to think this was a fucking meme. There are unironically guys that do this shit, like, and they just want to, like, get girls to think they're so soy cool and go fuck or whatever. That is like this ultra form of like reverse cuck shit where you're like, well, maybe if I sip hard enough, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if that's this guy's motivation or if this guy's just a super soy progressive fucking loser and is believe all women hashtag brain rot. Who knows? But I don't know. Also, I also fucking hate this guy. So everything I say, probably scale it back like 50% because I really don't like this dude. I'm probably being a little unhinged, but...
He later found out that Matt and Ryan were making fun of her and Rav behind their backs about posts that Lex had made about her car being broken into and robbed. Lex and Rav were robbed 2 different times while being homeless, keeping their belongings in a car because they had no other choice at the time. About her car being broken into and robbed behind their backs about posts that Lex had made about her car being broken into and robbed. Lex and Rav were robbed 2 different times while being homeless, keeping their belongings.
Where are these guys living? Are these guys in LA? Your car got broken into twice? You don't have a friend's car park, like driveway you can park in? You don't have any other, you guys are connected to SuperMega, and this is a hot fucking girl with, does she have OnlyFans? I see people posting pictures. You don't have a single fucking friend with a closet you could store some shit in for a couple weeks? Bullshit. I don't believe any of this. I don't believe a single fucking word of this. I don't believe it. I could be totally wrong too. Maybe there's some evidence or proof or whatever, and I'll admit, okay, I was wrong. I don't believe it.
In a car because they had no other choice at the time. And when Lex and Rav tried to explain this situation to SuperMega, they went through...
All my friends have had their cars broken into in LA. Oh, I lived in LA-ish areas for like 3 years. I've never had a car broken into before. But I usually park in my parking garage if I'm in an apartment. I don't do street parking that often.
Days of conversations where Matt and Ryan actually became upset at Lex and Rav, telling them that they were rude when staying at their office and claiming that they went about the situation in the best way they could.
So Ryan gets really real with it.
I have heard in San Francisco that your shit will get I don't know if San Francisco is worse than LA. I don't know if someone's going to look at the stats. I'm sure it happens in LA. I've heard way more stories about your shit getting in San Francisco than LA though. But I'm not sure. I don't know.
Today at 5 p.m. just about, they had to spend...
Wait, this was the car in question? Wait, seriously, bro? What is this, like a $40,000, $50,000 Jeep? Bro, if you've got a car this big, how are you homeless? Just live in the fucking car. Damn, bro. I remember when I was homeless. This was my home. A little Volkswagen GTI, baby. I would sleep at the, are they called, is it Flying J? Am I making that up? I think these are gas stations that have showers in them and shit. Outside my work. Ah, what a great time to be alive. Nobody broke into my car because I was in my car, motherfucker.
A day and a half chewing on this. The way these guys like do group chats is they all go in the office together and say, and like play football and like make a plan and like who's doing good cop, bad cop ass shit. Very manipulative. But how else do you think they would have had Jim message me with Matt in there? They all work together. Why does Matt need to be in there? Except for a power dynamic. Like, they know what they're doing. Ryan says the next day, I don't think it's about that. It's just we're trying to get our lives together and we've been nothing but generous to y'all during this time. I think the idea that there are grievances time and time again with our friendship when we've been helping you whenever we can is confusing. It's not a good feeling and overwhelming. Especially since this year has been nothing but drama since the jump. Literally nothing to do with me at
I mean, it sounds like he's annoyed because they've basically been giving these people a free place to live for months and months and months. That's what it sounds like. Which is fair.
All or Rav. I don't care. No one's saying that to me. No one's saying I know you've dealt with a lot. Like they're saying they're only bringing it up as like we've dealt with you. Like Rav just was like, congrats about the bad thing that is good now. And when it gets brought up for us, it's about like we've been helping you time and time again, and there's still grievances time and time again. It's only been one grievance. It was always the same grievance. It was the same thing that no one listened to me for, and when I tried to talk about it...
Does she have... Okay, so here's a big piece of evidence that would help her story, and maybe she has it, or some posts I haven't seen it. Is there any evidence that she's posted of the Super Omega guys recognizing the sexual assault? Because it sounds like in all of these texts, they don't even think it happened, or they didn't believe it happened. It sounds like they're just talking about like, oh yeah, there's a lot of drama, you guys are complaining about living rent-free or not. Like, is there any text anywhere of the guy being like, yeah, we understand that you got sexually assaulted, but is that anywhere?
No one wanted to talk about it. And now it's a problem. And I'm homeless, sitting in this creepy, weird sex trafficking room, getting told that, like, we're annoying, basically. That, like, we have too many grievances. I got assaulted, man. Could you guys just, like, care? Like, why'd you switch up? What
does that even mean? I got assaulted, bro. Can you give me a place to live for a while? What, like, how does that logically follow? Like, what are we, like, what is the next thing? Like, bro, I got assaulted. You're not gonna put me up for a little bit? Like, bro, like, isn't it like one rape to like 2 months of rent at least? Like, Jesus Christ, like, what are we arguing for here?
Happened to keeping him accountable, Ryan. Like, this year's been nothing but drama since the jump for you.
Lex mentioned that their office was always disgusting with mounds of trash piled up inside of the house.
Yeah, but you were living there. I mean, like, what do you...
And it was basically a disgusting wreck.
The office is dirty. I'm often cleaning up maggot-infested pizza boxes. I'm doing stuff that maids get paid to do on my free time that...
Was she living there for free and complaining about cleaning up? I must be missing something. Okay, so warning, I have to be missing something. These parts of the story cannot be how I'm interpreting them. There must be something that I'm not understanding here, okay? No shot is she living for free, because this is what's happening. This is what is existing in my head right now. And this can't be true, okay? Because in my head, what it sounds like is she's living in some place for free and she's complaining about how dirty it is. But that can't be true, because that would be ridiculous. That would just be an absurd proposition. There's no way. There's no way that could be the case, okay? So that can't, so I'm missing something. There must be another video, another text message, or another tweet that I'm just not seeing right now, okay?
I'm not working. Yo, just heard y'all were taking...
Not working? How long has she had an OnlyFans for? When did she start it? Yeah, because she's got like top 1% OnlyFans in her Twitter.
Another vacation. Wonder if there are any updates on the expected move-out date. Hope the search has been going.
Just heard y'all were taking another vacation? I thought you guys were broke and had no money. How are you taking vacations?
Wonder if there are any updates on the expected move-out date. Hope the search has been going good.
And there have been several.
Wait, what the f is happening? This is like, the reason why it's important to call it women like this. Yeah, how do you take a vacation from being homeless? What? This woman sounds so entitled. But maybe I'm crazy. I gotta be missing something. I really do. I'm not just saying that to like meme. There's gotta be something that I'm not getting here. There's gotta be something that I'm missing in this story. Because it just can't be what's being said. It can't be that. It just can't be this. It can't be this. There must be something else going on here.
People bringing this up after the fact, saying that in their time at the Super Megaplex, it was just as disgusting as Lex would explain. All in all, it felt like Lex and Rav were a situation that Matt and Ryan wanted nothing to do with, and it seemed like they were constantly downplaying their situation while also trying to nudge them towards leaving the office.
That they were staying in rent-free. Yeah, what do you mean? Is that a ridiculous thing to want?
So I suffered because of having to rush from knowing I was going to be asked, instead of them just either giving me a date to leave by or asking me like, do you know when you can be gone by?
I'm everything in my head, it's starting to look like Farah's gonna come busting the door. It's starting to like Pretty Woman syndrome. That's what it's. I'm becoming so sexist right now. That's what it's starting to sound like. Like, you can't even give me a real move out date. I'm staying here for free and I'm not working right now, and you're gonna tell me that I gotta leave, and you wouldn't even tell me exactly when. Like,
instead they would just say, "You guys on a vacation again?" insinuating that we're doing it only for fun. It was never like, maybe they don't want to be around us or something. It was always an us problem, and I think...
What the fuck? Were they if they're work vacations, then you're not unemployed. And if they're not work vacations, then yeah, they are for fun.
I think that's why I still gaslight myself about everything.
Oh, we got the psych terms too. Gaslighting now.
You get someone to talk to you when they refuse to. You just can't. And when that person or people are responsible of the land that all your worldly possessions are in that haven't been stolen, you kind of have to work with them. And they were refusing to work with us. There was a point in time we get into town,
What do you mean refusing to work with you? It sounds like they were giving you a place to stay for free. What, were they supposed to micromanage your whole life? Oh my God, bro. Oh no, are we getting Trump's mugshot soon? Oh no.
don't have access to the Plex. There's at least over a week of time where we have no stuff I can't get. There's at least over there's a point in time we get into town, we just don't have access to the Plex.
What is the Plex? Complex or storage facility or? Wait, so then you did have a place to store your stuff. Were you paying for that? The SuperMega house. Oh, okay.
At least over a week of time where we have no stuff. I can't get my computer. I can't get my extra clothes that I have in California. Anything. I just can't function, and because he's talking to Alex Ernst.
Your extra you can't function because you can't get your extra clothes?
He's making a video with Alex Ernst today. Sorry, you don't get your clothes. I haven't read back on this particular conversation since then, but it's so cruel. Like, we're homeless sitting in a hotel reading this. Like, all this peaceful talk Rav does is met with a text back from Ryan saying, "We were told that y'all are still upset with how we handled the Dawn situation. Is this not true? If the problems you're talking about aren't that and are just an off vibe, then yeah, we've caught it too. Whether it's standoffishness we're getting from y'all acting in a rude manner when invited to my birthday, or what seemed like directed negative sarcasm in a recent group chat. It's difficult to not expect there is antagonism behind some of these things. The fact that he can say, like, even bring up the Dawn situation, I had not talked about Dawn in typed words the whole time. So I remember when
That makes her look really bad. It makes me feel, and I'm doing a lot of inferencing here, but it makes me feel like they never actually got an understanding that the Dawn situation was as bad as she's saying. One of the things I don't like is she's telling this whole story with the assumption that everybody knows that Dawn fucked up, sexually assaulted her, and it was really horrible, but they're still pushing all this on her so much. But the way that all these messages read to me is they never actually agreed with that at all. But it's important to know, because if they did agree with that, oh my God, am I about to lose on the last fucking level? If they did agree with that and they were still pushing her to be in places or whatever, that's really cruel and really fucked up. But it sounds like that wasn't the case at all. That's why I was saying before, if she would have had text messages showing that they had acknowledged that and they were still pushing it, then it would be fucked up. But
I wrote this, I was like, oh, so I could just show this to anyone now, right? Like, I could just show, he said it, it's real. Like, it's not just like some shit that I'm like saying in Insular and then there's no other proof of someone else. I remember feeling a weird amount of relief when he wrote that and sent it. I was like, you're so mad, you like fucked yourself.
Lex explains in her video that really all she wanted from SuperMega was for them to make a post about why they were letting Dawn go after so much time, so other people don't become victims of him. But Matt and Ryan never did that. They never ever explained to anyone publicly why Dawn left the
You don't have an obligation to make those explanations, especially when it's literally one he said, she said, and especially when even that is contested. Why would you have an obligation to destroy the life of the person that you're letting go? Like,
company. Not only that, but Ryan even liked a photo that Dawn posted on Twitter of some art he made after knowing about the sexual assault and letting him go. Again, there are countless more details that I urge you to check out in Lex's video, but let's keep moving on. After this video was posted, ex-fans of SuperMega on Reddit and Twitter began to post about Lex's video, and they very quickly took Lex's side in the situation, bringing up even more cases of Matt and Ryan's disgusting behavior, as well as Dawn and Jim. It seems like a lot of fans were already a bit weary of SuperMega after a number of smaller controversies they've been in over the past few years, but this by far is the biggest one. In the time since, it feels like people are beginning to put equal blame on the two guys, but at first it seemed like people were definitely trying to shit on Matt a lot more in this situation, and I really don't feel like that's a fair thing to say. I think Ryan is just as at fault here as Matt is in this situation. They are both owners of their YouTube channel. They are both the bosses of the people who are a part of this story. And Ryan may as well have been the one person that Matt would listen to in this situation, but he decided not to. There are multiple texts from Ryan downplaying the severity of this situation, and I think him and Matt are both pretty despicable human beings for letting any of this happen. This is SuperMega's subreddit. If you kind of start going through the top posts of this past week, you can see a lot of their previous supporters are definitely not interested in supporting them anymore. A former fan of theirs says this is what constitutes as a magnum opus you're willing to push your friend's sexual assault aside for. There's this guy on their Patreon who used to only ever comment.
So he doesn't even care about the sexual assault. He's just going in on the Super Omega people. He just really wants to see that channel. Well, I guess it says SuperMega is full of horrible people. Okay.
I'm gay, and this kind of encapsulates what a lot of people were feeling about the situation. Dawn is a groomer and a rapist. If you found out about that and didn't immediately cut him out of your life, you're just fucking evil.
Dawn is a groomer now? What did I miss? The groomer allegations came too? Okay.
I don't know what to tell you, let alone how you handled and treated Rav and Lex. I can thoroughly say I hate you guys. I absolutely despise what you've become. Public apologies now. I'm so unbelievably serious. This will be my final post on your dog shit motherfuckers page.
Wow.
I used to look forward to commenting I'm gay. It was a fun ritual born out of Ryan's proclivity to do so in early SuperMega episodes as a bit. I'm gay myself and always enjoyed the irreverent, but still, at the end of the day, respectful way you joked about homoerotic content and whatnot. This is my final post. My final I'm gay. Now it's just I'm disgusted. Reflect on what what you've done and have a real come to Jesus moment about all this over the next few years. Otherwise, there's no hope for you, and I hope you rot in a ditch. And if we go to this post about Lex's tweet explaining that she made this video about SuperMega, and you have a lot of people who are upset about it. Rightfully so. This person says, fuck me, that is awful and disgusting. I don't even know what to say. I'm so disappointed. All right, time to pull out the ukulele. Matt is definitely canceling his last 2 shows, and this is referring to the fact that Matt Watson was actually on tour at the time this video came out, and when all of this came out, he actually tweeted about the situation, surprisingly, and this is what he said. He said, hey guys, with what's being said right now, which is a very weird way to explain what happened, you hid the sexual assault of a friend of yours and kept the rapist around even though you knew that he sexually assaulted someone in your house. Hey guys, with what's being said right now, I don't think it's appropriate for me to do a concert. Yeah, I don't think so. So unfortunately, I'm going to cancel the last 2 shows, and I'll have a response as soon as possible. This was at 2:35 p.m. On the Thursday that the video came out. Currently, it is 10:53 p.m. The next night. A lot of people even came into the subreddit to roast Matt Watson's music career. One person said, "There's one last thing I want to share before leaving the sub. I did not."
Why does any of this matter? What is the relevancy of any of this bullshit?
Care for Matt Watson's music career. I'm pretty sure this is a Family Guy reference, but it's still, you know, let's look at the comments. I always thought everyone was just pretending to like his music. As someone who paid to go to one of his shows, I agree. Thank you. I always got downvoted in the sub for calling his music trash. Obviously, none of this has an effect on how he treats people, but of course, if his art sucks, let's fucking dunk on him. He sucks. Plus, the way he sucked up to other musicians felt like he was trying to piggyback.
Yeah, I feel like when the Turkey Tom guy was saying like, oh, I feel like it's just a hit piece. It's just a hit piece on these guys. It's just, that kind of sounded cringe. Like there's like legitimate reasons why people might blah, blah, blah. But it kind of does just feel like a hit piece, actually. It really does. Like the platform is, the launching pad is the girl's sexual assault, I guess. Alleged sexual assault. And then it's just like a hit piece on SuperMega, basically. Does this guy have beef with SuperMega? That's basically what it feels like. Like
off their clout, you know, this is just giving you an idea of where the SuperMega fans are at this point. And there were a lot of questions about Justin, who was a former editor for SuperMega, and Kelly, who was a former channel artist for SuperMega, also being a part of this. But since then, Lex actually explained that Justin and Kelly didn't know about the sexual assault, and they left when they learned what Matt and Ryan did. And since then, Justin and Kelly have both taken SuperMega out of their bios. And it really did seem like they were 2 of the people that were closer to Matt and Ryan. So to know that they were willing to immediately disconnect and separate themselves from SuperMega, it says a lot about Matt and Ryan's character. It says a whole lot of stuff about them. I will say that Jim actually still does have SuperMega in his bio as of posting this video. And my favorite post right here says, rape apologist gets what he deserves. And it shows Matt...
Rape apologist? Oh my God. That's supposed to be my title.
Getting the absolute shit beaten out of him. Let's just let it play a couple more times. We can keep watching it. I don't think anyone minds letting this loop on repeat. We could just let this go. If you want me to do this for the rest of the video, I could. I know the boys messed up, but please understand, SuperMega's Matt's magnum opus. And you have another post from here by an 8+ year fan of SuperMega that says, they've been here since the Syndigo days, a channel that Matt and Ryan used to be a part of, and I just can't do this shit anymore. Time and time again, SuperMega has revealed to be continually doing dumb shit, and their content isn't really that funny anymore. I live near a place where Matt was playing live, and I almost got a ticket, but I'm glad I didn't. After all the awful stuff that Lex went through and that shit that he allegedly said about Daniel, I'm really disgusted. And what this fan is referencing there is a close friend of Ryan and Matt who used to be a part of this channel, Syndigo. Daniel was the 3rd member of this YouTube channel, and he ended up taking his life a number of years ago. And despite the fact that this seemed to be a big turning point in Matt and Ryan's career, and it seems to be something that affected them even to this day, Lex and, as we'll learn in the future, other former employees of SuperMega have claimed that Matt had made a lot of jokes about what happened to Daniel, and even called
this guy should himself. I don't know what else is. This is just a hit piece. Why are you bringing up every irrelevant fact you don't know any of the information about? You have no idea. You don't check for any of these people to see if any of these allegations are real. You don't even know what kind of jokes they're saying. Why do you think you even have a right to speak on like how they would joke about a suicided friend? Like, you Zoomer retard. Why would you even enter an opinion here?
On September 16th, 2015, while Matt was in South Carolina and Mark was at work, I found Daniel unresponsive in his room due to an apparent suicide attempt. He was taken off of life support on September 18th of 2015. To address these allegations head on about me making fun of the suicide of my best friend, I just want to state that it's just untrue. The person making these claims never knew Daniel. They definitely were not a part of the group that experienced the trauma of losing him. And I think, honestly, it is disrespectful to bring him up as a weapon. I felt like he was just brought into the situation for drama's sake to try to hurt me or Matt or hurt our image. I have done enough shit to tarnish my image, but I will not stand by and let someone talk lies about the way I talked or treated my trauma in regards to Daniel.
It's just a hit piece. This is just a hit piece. That's all this is. Like,
him a coward at some point for what he did. In Lex's video, one of the details she mentioned that wasn't as relevant to the main story was that Matt actually cheated on a long-term girlfriend of his very recently, within the past year, and not only did that, but cheated on the girl that he cheated on his girlfriend with a sex worker by the name of Mork Pie.
What does that have to do with any of this? Like, are you going to tell me next that, like, one time he was walking outside and he kicked, like, a puppy in the stomach, or?
So we came to find out. Mork Pie.
Wait, I love you, Melina. Never mind. That. I just remember that name. That is a name that I know. God damn.
Ended up going on a stream and talking about her experience with Matt Watson after seeing what Lex had to say in her video. And someone from the SuperMega subreddit put together a stream recap of what she was talking about. I will link that below, or I'm sure you can find it on her Twitch stream if you want to watch the entire thing. But let's talk about what she said here. Morkpie says that Matt started talking to her in the DMs. He was flirtatious and didn't mention a girlfriend until they had been DMing consistently. Matt and his girlfriend at the time were together for about 4 years, I think. He started texting Morkpie about being in a really rough place mentally. He texted her that he was upset because his friends found out that he was cheating on his ex, who goes by the name Annabelle, with a girl by the name of Zeph. Zeph is actually a pretty popular musician who Matt ended up dating, and if you go to her most recent post, you can see that comments on this post have been limited. The top comment saying...
What? Okay. That's it. There's still 10 minutes left. This is just a hit piece. Okay.
Magnum opus. It at least seems like up to this point that Zeph and Matt both knowingly cheated on Annabelle. Matt told Morg that he confessed his feelings to Zeph and then kissed her when he was drunk, but Morkpie later found out from his ex that he had been having a secret affair with Zeph for a long time. Morg and Matt's texting turned into sexting on August 3rd, and Morkpie wasn't under the impression that he was with Zeph at the time that this happened, but now she's unsure. Lex in the chat said that Matt was on a 2-week break with Zeph during this period, so it seems like there was a chance that he may have cheated on her with Morkpie, but it also seems like there was some sort of 2-week break where Matt began doing this. Morkpie flew into LA on September 8th and hooked up with Matt Watson. Before they hooked up, she asked Matt if he was going to be in a relationship with Zeph, and Matt said no. The second night she's in LA, she stayed at his house, and Matt takes her to the SuperMega Plex, which is the dumb name that they came up with to talk about their office. The office that had all the trash in it. The office that they tried kicking 2 homeless people out of who were friends of theirs. The second night they hooked up, Matt told Morkpie that he was bragging to all his friends about hooking up with her. Seems like Matt Watson is a 14-year-old boy, and
You are all 14-year-old children. Like, I would be ashamed if any of you were older than 22 in this. Holy shit. Oh my god, it's so fucking cringe. Like, what is wrong with Zoomers? Jesus. How old is this guy?
He looks like it too. He specifically mentioned telling Justin about hooking up with Morgue Pie, but he didn't want her to tell anyone that she hooked up with him. Morgue Pie confirms that the Super Megaplex is filthy and told Matt that they need to hire a maid because of how gross it was, and someone made a joke about her moving to LA to clean the Super Megaplex, and Matt ran with it and started earnestly telling her that she should move to LA. Matt ghosted Morgue Pie after she asked him to hang out on September 10th, but texted her to ask her to remove a tweet where she posted a picture wearing his shirt on her personal Twitter. She texted Matt to confront him about ghosting her after sleeping with her, asking if he was still interested in her and if he'd want to see her again if she came back to LA. Matt responded saying, quote, "I would love to hang out again, but I'm going to be in a relationship with Zeph, so it would have to be just as friends." After the second night they hooked up, she mentioned that he stopped reaching out to her and any contact was made by her first, which he eventually stopped responding to altogether. Matt's friends started messaging her on Twitter saying that Matt was bragging about hooking up with her and saying that he's sleeping around. She ended the conversation about saying that she didn't want to
Okay, so it sounds like he played her, basically. She got finessed a little bit, yeah.
ruin his life or end his career, but to caution people against idolizing people you don't know on the internet. She expressed major support for Lex and Layden, who we will get to next. Layden was a former merch designer for SuperMega who was let go just a few months ago, and again was let go without SuperMega actually saying anything to their audience. Layden is a friend of Lex's and was one of the only people who she truly could confide in during that time when they both were associated with SuperMega. Layden was also the only openly gay employee that worked at SuperMega and very quickly became a, I guess, punchline for SuperMega over multiple months that Layden was working with them. Layden says that Jim does no work in the office. Layden had to carry his workload during his time at the Super Megaplex. He hangs out to make the boys laugh, micromanages other people's work, and that's it. He mentioned that Justin also does not like Jim. Again, Jim being the freak who kissed Lex.
Wait, somebody said this guy is 32? No shot, I don't believe you. No way.
After she told him that she was sexually assaulted. Can I put a photo of him up on the screen? It's literally what he looks like. Layden said his working relationship with them went to hell after last summer's creator clash. Matt and Ryan would apparently make jokes about Daniel's suicide at the office, specifically towards Layden, who they knew had a history of suicide attempts and suffers from BPD. The boys would joke about Layden coming in to shoot up the office because he was the only one in the Super Megaplex who took their jokes seriously. Layden told Matt and Ryan about giving a free book to a gay kid his mother knew who had attempted suicide after being outed, and they refused to take it seriously, basically making a bunch of jokes. After Layden got upset, Ryan left the room to go scroll on his phone while Matt attempted to blanket the
Oh, he's like 25, okay. Or 24.
situation to get Layden to stop being upset. In the last 2.5 years, Layden says the boys made around 5 jokes he can remember where the punchline was Daniel killing himself. In August 2021, on his first day full-time, Matt yelled at Layden that he was going to show him his dick and balls since he would probably see it at some point anyways, and then flashed Layden, which everyone in the office laughed at, even though Layden found it disturbing. Matt and Ryan used the N-word with the hard R often around the office. He mentioned how when you join SuperMega as an employee, there's a joke that gets told by Matt and Ryan that Chuck E. Cheese has a middle name and the punchline is the N-word. Seems like a funny joke. Ryan would also write the N-word on a sticky note, hard R and all, and would put it on Justin's computer as he edited to shock him, but would destroy the note if he saw Layden come anywhere nearby. This happened multiple times.
Is there any proof of any of these claims at all?
The full Extreme Drunk Mario Kart video that SuperMega put up on their channel. It has footage so bad that they could never release the unedited version. He didn't really elaborate on this as much as I hoped, but he did mention that at some point Matt and Ryan measured each other's bare assholes in front of Layden as a bit, which made him uncomfortable. SuperMega's attorney has threatened Layden with legal action for even discussing the boys in private with his friends because it violates his NDA. Matt filmed and took pictures of Layden without his consent while he was in the urinal multiple times, including at a bar when Layden was drunk and at the Super Megaplex. Layden was raped as a 15-year-old by a YouTuber, and a lot of the experiences he had while working for SuperMega were extremely triggering for him as a result, since most of the negative experiences he had consisted of them violating without consent. As stated by Lex, Layden promised that Matt and Ryan would be sympathetic to Lex about the Don situation, and he was totally blindsided about how everything went down. Matt pulled Layden into a meeting and repeated the classic magnum opus line again. Matt made sure to clarify that since Don was a contracted employee, that they didn't actually have to fire him for the sexual assault, and both of the boys were excited that Lex didn't want to escalate the situation further and get the authorities or other people outside of the company involved. They immediately phased Don out and then made a point to never bring Kelly back publicly. After Ryan's birthday, everyone in the Plex, outside of Rav and Lex, would totally ice Layden out, speaking over him or leaving the room when he spoke. Layden really wanted the guys to know how much he appreciated them and would clean Ryan's house for him and do any odd job they asked of him. Lex mentioned in her video how eventually all cleaning was just designated to Layden because it was easier for one person to do it. Layden had been talking to Justin for weeks about how the boys were looking for any reason to fire Layden. He tried to explain to them some issues he had while working there, which they immediately shut down. Then they explained that if he didn't sign an NDA, they wouldn't give him the severance check that they owe him. Justin puts up with a lot of shit from the boys behind the scene. He didn't elaborate on this either, but he referenced the immature behavior he dealt with during his time working for SuperMega. And finally, Ryan would openly misgender a trans woman that he dated behind her back constantly at work and with friends. Matt would also engage in this, and there were many times that they would casually refer to the woman as a man/guy or straight up call her Ryan's boyfriend. Layden also got in a past SuperMega controversy where they had a pop-up shop. There's a lot more information on it, but Layden ended up having to post an apology taking the blame for something that SuperMega approved at this event. And if we go to the comments, someone says, Layden spoke to Justin today and says that we should give him the benefit of the doubt. He was the kindest person at SuperMega and he has a good heart. Layden also asked to give him encouragement in him creating his own content. He said that, quote, Matt and Ryan do not deserve Justin, and emphasized that Justin's a young man that was manipulated by Matt and Ryan. Yeah, that was a lot, right? This shit
hit piece,
sucks. All I really want out of this video and out of this situation is for the victims in the story to be heard and to have a voice. I think the fact.
Wait, but to be clear though, that was a lie. If all you wanted were the victims to be heard, you would have done a 10 to 15 minute video focusing on what happened to the victims. But like half of this video is just random shit off Reddit posts shitting on SuperMega. It's like the most disgusting type of opportunistic shit. Ugh, that's so gross. Ugh.
Fact that Lex went through hours and hours of shooting to put together this video to talk about her experience really speaks to just how much effort victims have to put into their story in order to, I guess, alleviate some of the fear that their story will not be taken seriously. This is, of course, something that happened to Lex in the past and something that followed her into this situation where, unfortunately, Matt and Ryan didn't only drop the ball, but I don't even know what word I have to like explain what kind of people we are talking about here. These are people who have worked with a lot of the creators that you guys know and love. These are people who have had the power to have an audience that was as tight-knit as SuperMega's audience. They had a lot of people who had their back through a lot of shit that SuperMega went through. And to have all of that turn into so many people being disrespected, so many boundaries being crossed, I'm going to follow the story. I'm going to talk about what Matt and Ryan say in response to this. I'm going to talk about the controversies that come forward. And the reason I want to do that is because they're not shutting it down this time. I think it's time for some people to be held accountable. And I think it's time for people to take some real action on creators
Accountability,
who
huh?
continually take advantage of the people around them and the people they hire, the people that they choose to work with, the people that they choose to put in this position where they get to be the boss. They get to do whatever they want in a situation, regardless of whether or not they have someone who has done some very disgusting behavior staying and living at their place. Since then, SuperMega has actually fallen below 1 million subscribers on YouTube. They were just hovering above 1 million for a very long time because they weren't gaining many fans. They don't have it anymore. That's all for the video today.
Why are you, like, it's such a weird fixation. Like, yesterday, I looked at their Vanguard portfolio and I saw that they had to sell off, like, $50,000 to keep their payroll afloat, guys. Good job. Like, what? Like, why are you talking about their sub count, you loser? Like, what an actual soy loser. Like, so this lady, yeah, she got but these guys don't even have 1 million subs anymore, okay? Yeah. Like, Really? This kid is actually gross. Holy shit.
I want to address everything that's been said.
Why are they being canceled? Because they covered up sexual assault. That is why. Nick did a great video about it. But it's okay, guys. They're going to release a video debunking everything.
And I want to apologize and take accountability where I need to take accountability. For those who don't know, Lex is an old friend of ours who recently released a statement on Twitter, as well as a YouTube video detailing a sexual assault incident that involved our former channel artist Dawn, as well as her recent experiences with myself and Ryan, aka SuperMega. I'm going to go ahead and read what Lex posted on Twitter so you can get her words verbatim on everything that happened. And then I'm going to try to supply as much additional context as I can and explain what happened from my perspective. In November 2021, I was sexually assaulted by Dawn on the first night that we had both met while dating. We were both staying at Matt Watson's house. He attempted to physically force me to give him oral sex, and the only reason it didn't happen was because I was forced.
From the guy's perspective, I guess I don't like giving advice like this because it's like so niche. I think this really only applies to like content creators or maybe people in long distance relationships. Fantasizing about sexual activity is a lot different than actually doing sexual activity. Before I meet with somebody, even if we've been sexting, like even if we've traded nudes, videos, or whatever, it's usually good to make it clear, like, listen, I know that we've had a conversation online and we've said certain things. However, just because we've said things online doesn't obligate you to some sort of like physical interaction when we actually meet. I think it's important to clarify that because it sounds like that was probably a little bit of what happened here. Like they expected a lot, they talked about the guy had big expectations. The girl kind of got a little bit spooked out, maybe, if I'm being like really charitable towards her story. But it's always good to clarify. Like just because we've talked online doesn't mean when you meet we have to fuck each other. You have to do things right.
To physically resist him when he didn't listen to my verbal commands to stop. I waited to confront Dawn until Creator Clash 2022, where I could keep it offline and then never see him again. But then Dawn was invited to Matt's house in LA right before I moved to LA to stay in the house that they used as an office, aka the Super Megaplex. I called them before I got there to tell them what happened so I could avoid being around Dawn, but they gave me mixed messages. Ryan one of support, and 2 days later Matt a phone call where he went into lawyer mode and promptly explained to me that technically Dawn isn't an employee, so we don't have to do anything, how SuperMega is his magnum opus, and how this would be very bad for them if anyone found out. Days later, they talked to Dawn privately at Matt's house where they proceeded to explain to try and get his side of his story, left the conversation with Dawn saying he didn't know what he did wrong, and Matt and Ryan deciding for me that Dawn and I just needed to talk things out in person. The day before I get to their office, Matt texted me and told me he sent Dawn there and I had to hide in the bathroom for him to leave. During my time at the office, every action was held against us, me and Rav, in silence until they felt appropriate to use them to kick us out, even though those things consisted of leaving to Tennessee while I visited my mom for her birthday, even though I bought a car, leaving town to work.
This chick is in California. She says she's homeless and unemployed, and she flies to Tennessee to hang out with her parents on their birthday? That is a vacation.
Rav's partner having attempted to take their life soon after I arrived, and me still being disturbed by what happened with Dawn and their reaction to it, were all held against us, and they used it to gaslight us into being framed as lazy when we were working harder than normal to get the less work done due to having no place to work. Any action that wasn't looking for a place or going to see one, aka being faster to going away, was seen as bad when there was no sense of urgency placed upon us to begin when we arrived. Staying at the office was uncomfortable as they did not want us to be there after this event, and we ended up homeless as a result of them icing us out and refusing to communicate to us almost completely despite staying at their job, even about crucial things like concerns about us living there or when they wanted us gone. Matt and Ryan instead delegated this responsibility to their employees, who we saw as friends, asking us to help them with chores around the house until they had them correspond instead about moving out. Upon which we realized what was going on and saw ourselves out before we got kicked out. After this, we had no communication with them. We were robbed on the way out of and back from LA. We lost almost everything we had, and we couldn't get our belongings from the office while living in the car and from hotel to hotel for a while because they weren't talking to us. I felt like I couldn't talk about what was going on with me for the past year because I'd have to explain things that Matt and Ryan clearly didn't want people to know. So I want to begin by offering Lex the deepest and most sincere apology because the bottom line is Ryan and myself did not handle the situation well. There are a lot of ways that we could have handled the situation better, and we didn't. I also want to state that we never took any action to cover up a sexual assault, and we never tried to cover Dawn from any consequences. And I'll go into that more as we progress through the video. So on May 19th, 2022, after returning home from Creator Clash, I got a call from Dawn in which he was crying, saying that him and Lex had just broken up. He told me he was essentially stuck in Florida because he's from Germany and he had no money and didn't know what to do. And at this time, I didn't know any specifics of what had happened with the breakup. He mentioned to me that they had been distant and then ended up just breaking up. That was the extent of my knowledge on the split at the time. Feeling bad for Dawn, I offered to get him a one-way plane ticket to LA to come crash at my place until he could find a way to get back to Germany. He took me up on the offer, and on May 23rd, he flew out to LA. When Dawn arrived, he cried to me about how heartbroken he was, and the whole time I was none the wiser on what had actually taken place between him and Lex, and if I had known, I would not have invited him out to LA to stay with me. I would not have housed him. I don't remember exactly, but I think Rav was the one who told me initially on my balcony one night, and he told me that Dawn had sexually assaulted Lex. This was something that I did not expect from Dawn, and truth be told, I had a bit of a hard time accepting it. I soon asked Dawn about this, and what he told me was he chalked it up to basically a misunderstanding in the bedroom. At this time, I did not grasp how serious this situation was, and obviously he did not either. So Lex gave Ryan a call soon after to explain what had happened, and she told him that Dawn had sexually assaulted her. I then had a phone call with Lex shortly after on May 27th, where she detailed to me what had happened between her and Dawn in November of 2021 when they were staying at my house. I want to state that from the beginning, when she told me, I fully believed and have supported Lex, which I stressed to her throughout this phone call. However, I do think that some of the things I said on this call were misinterpreted, and this has zero fault on Lex. This is 100% my fault for poorly articulating my thoughts.
He's covering his bases
I wasn't sure
so
how
well.
to talk about this type of situation, and I believe that some of the things that I said to Lex on this call came across very differently from what I intended. But I do know that intent does not change how
like
it was
a
interpreted
lot of this is like PR.
and how Lex felt about it. But I did want to give some more context on that phone call. I told Lex that Ryan and I fully supported her, that we believed her 100%, and that we would be there for her. To be honest, I was terrified of misstepping in this situation due to its sensitive nature and how close it was to home. I was not sure how to navigate it. This was all new territory to me. And I asked her a really stupid question because of that. I asked Lex what she wanted me and Ryan to do about the situation, which was an absolutely dumbass thing to ask. I meant it from a place of, we want to help and we will do whatever it is you want us to do to make the situation better. I now see that obviously came across as me putting the responsibility of the situation back on the victim, and I feel terrible about that. My intention was to be helpful, and I went about it very poorly. In Lex's statement, she said that I brought up technicalities over Don's employment, as well as me saying something along the lines of how much it would suck for SuperMega if this got out, and that SuperMega was my magnum opus, and I didn't want anything to ruin that. Over the course of the phone call, we did discuss Don's role with SuperMega, and while I don't recall making any of those specific comments, I do know I brought up our business and how Don's actions might affect that. That was completely wrong of me to do. I never should have brought up anything as trivial as that, while Lex was telling me something very difficult. I was kind of freaking out, and I was thinking out loud. It should not have even been on my mind. And that was selfish of me. What I should have done was just listened and offered support and not question anything. Rav and Lex have both mentioned that I've made comments where I've said, well, Don isn't technically an employee, so we don't have to do anything. I don't see the logic in that or why I would have said that, because that's not something I would have said. I think it's more realistic that something was misinterpreted or miscommunicated there. I ended the call by voicing complete support for Lex and telling her that Ryan and I were here for her and we would figure out what to do. In hindsight, the answer is obvious, and we should have acted immediately, but we didn't. For context, here are the text messages right before and right after that call, showing that I was supportive. I was not completely callous like it was made out to be. And as a side note, I'm hoping that people will not confuse me providing more context where I think it's needed with just getting defensive. To be honest, Ryan and I were scared of this whole situation. We knew that we needed to talk to Dawn, so me and Ryan organized a meeting with him at our office where we sat him down and confronted him about this. We asked him what had happened that night, and he explained it from his perspective, which was very different from Lex's perspective. We felt a little confused on what had happened that night, as did Rav. Rav was also trying to figure out what had gone down. And at this point, I don't think any of us still were taking it as seriously as we should have been. And that is something that I sincerely regret, because we did not take it as seriously right from the jump as we should have. Instead, we asked questions and tried to do some detective work and get to the bottom of it, and maybe have Dawn talk to Lex to try to figure out, you know, if this was a misunderstanding, which I now see was an absolutely, you know, terrible, terrible move, suggesting that. Having a victim and an abuser, you know, telling them to, you know, maybe to talk to each other, horrible. And that is something that I'm so sorry about, Lex. Here you can see some text messages between myself and Rav, where Rav is saying that he figured out a little more context on the situation at one point. Rav did wisen up quicker than Ryan and I did, though. I think that he took it more seriously than we did. We were still confused and not sure what to do, and we messed up. Anyway, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit to July 4th. We had a party at the Super Megaplex, and afterwards, Lex came over to my place to crash for the night. While we were in the living room after we got back, I was on one couch, she was on the other. We had a very in-depth conversation about the entire Dawn situation. At this point, I'd had more time to reflect on it and kind of see where I had messed up and better understood what had actually taken place and how my response to that was poor. In this conversation, I sincerely apologized to Lex. I admitted where I was wrong and I took responsibility. I expressed remorse for how I had acted during the situation, and she accepted my apology. This is why I ultimately found myself a bit confused as to why there's a notion that I have never addressed this with Lex, because I have. I, however, don't blame Lex at all for how she may feel, because this is a very complicated situation, and I can't even begin to pretend to understand how she feels and what kind of emotions are at play here. Despite our delayed action on this, I do want to state unequivocally that Ryan and I never made any attempts to cover up a sexual assault or to aid Dawn. People have been theorizing and asking us for over a year, where did Dawn go? Why is Dawn no longer the channel artist? This is the reason. In response to what Lex told us, we removed Dawn as our channel artist and we cut contact with him 100%. Personal business, we have not had any communications. And we did not cover this up from other people. For example, I was the one who told Ross over the phone because Ross had a show with Dawn and I felt like he needed to know this. However, we weren't like super open about this to the people, especially, you know, we didn't say anything to the public about it. We never stated our reasoning for cutting contact with Dawn or removing him as the channel artist because Lex had not publicly talked about this and she expressed that she did not want this to be a thing that was public. We felt like it was not our place to address someone else's sexual assault and give that as the reasoning for removing contact with Dawn. We figured that as long as he was gone and we weren't working with him, you know, that was our response. The last thing that we wanted was to bring attention to something that Lex did not want attention brought to. And while we did remove Dawn as our channel artist and cut all contact with him, admittedly, it took longer than it should have. In retrospect, we should have done this immediately when Lex told us, but we were scared of confrontation and cowardly and did not know how to handle this type of situation, and we handled it poorly. The bottom line is it took us longer than it should have, and I just want to extend the biggest apologies to Lex for making her feel like we did not care, like this was not a priority for us. I'm very sorry. I incredibly regret the way it was handled, and I wish that I could do it over, but I can't, and I'm sorry for that. Lex also brought up an instance where she went to go stay at the office and Dawn was there. This was a complete accident and misunderstanding on my end. It is completely my fault. I did not mean for that to happen, and I take full responsibility for that. I had been fed up with Dawn staying with me, especially after hearing what Lex had told me, and Lex had not arrived in town yet. At the time, I also had 2 or 3 people staying with me on top of Dawn, and I felt really overwhelmed. I had a lot going on in my personal life at the time that was stressing me out, and I felt overwhelmed, and I sent Dawn to go stay with Rab at the office. I made a mistake where I forgot that I'd previously told Lex that she could stay there, and I sent Dawn there to get out of my house. I never intended for them to come in contact with each other. As soon as I realized my mistake, I told Dawn he had to leave the office, and for a little more context, here is me having a discussion with Rav where I'm realizing my mistake. Bottom line is, Lex, I am sorry that I created that situation and put you in it. It never should have happened, and my stupid fried brain let it happen, and there's no excuse for that. Overall, Ryan and I should have handled the Dawn situation completely differently. We absolutely recognize where we failed, and we take full accountability for that. I also want to address a very large chunk of Lex's video that was focused on her and Rav's time living at our office, aka the Super Megaplex. Rav was coming to America and he needed somewhere to crash, so we told him he could crash at the Super Megaplex while he gets his feet off the ground, and later when Lex came out to LA, we said that she could crash there as well too, and you know, her and Rav were friends, so it was all good. We of course initially had no issue with this and we were happy to let them stay at the office, but problems did arise over time, and generally speaking, something I think all 4 of us can agree on is that the thing that really plagued the situation was lack of communication, miscommunication. As time went on and weeks turned into months of them staying at the office, we were unsure of their plans and how motivated they were to actually find a place to move into. They believed that we were ignoring them and acting cold, while we believed they were doing the same thing to us. So it was like a two-way street of awkwardness. And something to point out is when we came into the office, it would be to get work done. So it wasn't to come in to hang out, it'd be to get work done. So it definitely seemed a little more clinical. All around, it was a pretty weird vibe, and I think all four of us could have acted more mature during that period, but we failed to communicate, and that is largely on myself and Ryan, because after tensions rose, we honestly didn't really feel like having a conversation. Here's a text from Lex in a group chat acknowledging that they had been, distant towards us. And I'm only bringing this up to add context because in her video, she states that we iced them out and gave them the cold shoulder, but it was a two-way street and it was miscommunication. I'll just go ahead and read these out.
I've also contributed to not being available, though, because I've tried to stay out of both your ways as much as possible, get my focus on work, which probably came across as fucking off and not wanting to talk to y'all, and I apologize for that. I think I was also trying to be less present because I was worried I was distracting you guys from work a lot of the time at the Plex by being in the way already with me and my stuff. I didn't want to be more of a burden than I already was. I'm sorry we weren't able to talk about that. Okay, yeah.
To make it easier to digest. Lex said, I've also contributed to not being available though because I've tried to stay out of both of your way as much as possible and keep my focus on work.
Nice, good. The one time I do read them, nice.
Which probably came across as fucking off and not wanting to talk to y'all, and I apologize for that. I think I was also trying to be less present because I was worried I was distracting you guys from work a lot of the time at the Plex by being in the way already with me and my stuff, and I didn't want to be any more of a burden than I already felt like, but I think it just made me seem more aloof than anything. I'm sorry we weren't able to talk about it until now. I hate to bring things up this way. I know y'all are busy, so I don't expect to be able to talk in person about anything soon. Also, it's not very inviting if you think someone is seeming antagonistic, LOL. I'm glad to be able to talk about it now. I just hope that with the nature of texting seeming rather cold, what I'm trying to say is coming across as anything but trying to let you know I've not meant to cause any hurt, and I'm sorry if I did. We totally understood this, and we apologized as well, and I figured we were all on the same page. Here's me explaining why we seemed distant at the office, and this seemed to be understood by Rav and Lex. I'm not going to read all of this because it is too long and I want to move on, but feel free to pause the video and read through it yourself. As time went on, since they were staying at our place of work, our office, we asked our employee Jim to facilitate a conversation between us about when they were planning on leaving. Rav and Lex took this as a slight. They were angered by the corporate aspect of asking Jim to initiate this conversation. Really, it was a work matter for us because they were staying at our place of work, and Jim is good at this type of conversation. So we had him create a group chat that myself and Ryan were in, so we could also chime in if needed, and let him kind of like direct the conversation, but this did upset them. Shortly after, they made the decision to voluntarily leave the office. We did not throw them out. We did not make them homeless. Here is a text message where they're talking about leaving the office. Rav says, but yeah, y'all have certainly gone above and beyond with your generosity and allowing us to crash for as long as y'all have, and we'd hate to overstay our welcome any further than we already have. All of our stuff, with the exception of my 2 suitcases in the corner of y'all's living room space, should currently be in the garage, and when we're back, what we can do is move all of our set stuff into a proper storage space under lock and key somewhere away from the office, so as to not keep taking up y'all's workspace. We'll also stop—
No one cares. Watch the Armored Core review. Why do people want to watch reviews of games that aren't even out yet? I'll probably buy it and play it. I don't understand people get hyped watching other people. Oh, I'm watching them play the game. Oh. Well, I guess actually I'm a streamer, so that's your guys' entire lives. Never mind. I don't watch streamers, so I don't understand it. Sorry.
Stop crashing at the office, so no worries on that front either. If y'all have any other concerns, let me know. Thank you for letting us crash for mad long, and sorry for not getting out of y'all's hair sooner. Lex stated that we did not allow them to come pick their stuff up, which is not true. Here's a text between us on September 4th where she said, hey, sorry to bother you. Just wanted to check in to ask if I could grab some of my stuff from the office. We'll be shooting some pics/videos today at an abandoned water park a couple hours away, so I wanted to grab my camera and Amazon stuff I got sent there. Hope you're doing okay today. I said, yeah, that's fine. I'm not sure if anyone is there though. She texted me 2 days later saying, ended up not coming over when I mentioned LOL. Would any time today be a good time to stop by and grab some stuff? I can come by myself. I said, yeah, I think Jim will be there for a while. Text him just to be sure. I just bounced and just saw this. She then said, coordinated with Jim. Thank you. I just left a little bit ago. I grabbed everything and threw away a lot of stuff that was in/around the garage. Thank you so much for letting us stay there. I hope you're having a good night. I said, thank you, take care. What's y'all's plan right now? She replied with, gonna stay at an Airbnb to work at while figuring out a living situation. After they left, things did seem tense for a little bit, but they seemed to subside. I rekindled things with Rav several months later. We spoke about the last summer and how we were all in bad places and it was awkward. Rav and I, apologized to each other and made up. We did this at my house as well as a little discussion at Creator Clash 2023, which again is why I found myself very confused when Rav said what he did on Twitter recently. If he still felt that way, I wish that he had reached out to me. And since last summer, I assumed that my relationship with Lex was much better. For example, here's several texts I received from Lex between November of last year and February of this year. Good luck tonight, Matt. Heart emoji. I'm in Nashville, but I'd like to try to come to a show before tour is over. We should have a cookout when we're all back in town to celebrate. I said, thank you. We'll party hardy soon. On December 17th.
Party
Guess who lives
hardy.
like 5 minutes away from you now? It's me. Hope you're having a good day. I say, no way. For real? Where at? Are you standing outside my door? She hit me up a couple days later, said, what are you doing? I said, I'm back in Charleston right now. What about you? Then she hit me up the next day, said, I got really stoned and forgot to reply, LMAO. I hope you have a good time with your family. Also, congrats on 1 mil. The next day I replied and said, thank you. Then on my birthday, she texted me, happy birthday, Matt. I love you. Hope your day is great. I thought that after I apologized to her last July, things had smoothed out. And I think you can see why I would think that. But that communication ceased around the time that we fired Leighton, who is a close friend of hers. So this next stuff is stuff that I don't really feel.
Is all of this just like Leighton getting fucking ass mad and then him using all of this shit to try to get back at them?
feel comfortable talking about, but it was brought up, so I have to address it. The first thing is that in her video, Lex accused me of calling my friend, Daniel, who passed away from suicide in 2015, a coward on multiple occasions. This really hurt to hear because this is simply untrue. I have no recollection of ever opening up to Lex about my friend's suicide. And if I ever did open up to her about it, I know that I would never have referred to him in the manner that she portrayed. That experience affected me and Ryan more than anything has ever affected us in our lives, and it's something that we're still recovering from. And if you've dealt with suicide, you know that grief is different for each person, and you know that there are a lot of complex and confusing emotions that come with the grief regarding suicide. Some of those include anger, and if I ever expressed that to Lex, which again, I firmly believe that I did not, if that's the case, then I find it wildly inappropriate that Lex would use something I said in a very vulnerable state to weaponize and to make me look worse. The second thing is that Lex brought up personal details about my personal relationships and sex life. There was absolutely nothing that warranted divulging that information. It had nothing to do with the main point of the video, and it dragged people into the situation that did not consent to having their story told to hundreds of thousands of people, and now they are hurting because of that. Anyway, I'm not here to slam Lex. I just wanted to address those 2 points because I felt that they were important to address. At the end of the day, I just want to apologize to Lex for how the situation was handled. Again, I wish that I could do the entire situation over. I wish I could remove any pain that I caused, and I wish that I, had been a better friend. Normally, this is where I would end the video, but unfortunately, there was a lot more that needs to be addressed. So I was just talking about personal details being unnecessarily mentioned and weaponized to make me look worse, and unfortunately, more people have jumped on that bandwagon. One of those people being Morgan, aka Morgpie. For some background, in August 2022, when I was single and in between relationships, I sexted with her for one night and ultimately slept with her for 2 nights in September when she was visiting Los Angeles. During our hookups, I explicitly stated to Morgan that this was a hookup and that I had just gotten out of a relationship and I was not looking for anything, and this is something she acknowledged. I actually brought this up more than once. After she left LA to go back home, I could tell that she had caught some feelings and I did not want to lead her on, so I began to kind of distance myself. Shortly after, I also ended up working through a rough patch and started dating my current girlfriend, and I talked to Morgan even less after this. We stopped communication. I didn't feel like it was appropriate. To be talking to someone who the relationship I had was primarily sexual while I had a girlfriend. We pretty much lost all contact after I started dating my current girlfriend, and I figured that that was normal, and that's kind of just what is the typical life cycle of a hookup. Yep. I was very surprised to hear what Morgan had to say on stream, considering last month in June, we had a very pleasant conversation where we tied up any loose ends and smoothed everything out. I'm going to share that conversation. Morgan reached out to me on June 8th and said, "Hey man, hope you're doing well." I said, "Hey, I've been doing okay. Been really busy and stressed, but I'm pushing through. How have you been?" She said, "Oh man, me too. Supremely stressed, but I'm coming to LA this month and I'll be doing so much cool shit, so I'm excited. Glad to hear you're pushing through." I said, "I'm just kind of exhausted with tour coming up and stuff, but I'll be okay. I've been doing therapy a lot, which has been super helpful, and glad to hear you're doing cool shit." She replies with, "Oh, I'm so happy to hear therapy has been helping. I've had mixed results with that. Great when it actually works out." She replies with, "Yeah man, I'm excited, but yeah, just thought I'd check up on you because even though things got a little weird, I'll always care about you, dude. Hope you have a great tour too." I respond with, "I appreciate it, and I'm sorry things got a little weird. I'm not very good at navigating stuff, and when I got in a relationship shortly after, I wasn't sure how to not be awkward about it. I care about you too, and I don't feel weird at all about things or about you." She said, "Yeah, I kind of know what happened, LOL, people talk, but cool man, I'm glad things aren't weird." I said, "Same, glad it's not weird. I feel a lot better now, LOL." She said, "Me too, I hate loose ends." And I said, "Same, they bother me so much, LOL, and for clarity, I never felt bad or negative about you. I just didn't know how to not be awkward after a hookup. I'm not really a hookup person, especially since I'm in a relationship now. Sorry for my awkwardness. Glad we're all good." Morgan replies with, "Yeah, I felt a bit sour about it, TBH, because I'm not really a hookup person either. Low-key caught me with some feels and I felt pretty used afterwards, but shit happens and that's on me, so I don't harbor any ill will towards you. I mean, I didn't expect a relationship or anything, but yeah, LOL." I responded with, "I feel ya, and I'm sorry for acting in any way that made you feel used. That was never my intention, and I'm just kind of awkward with this stuff. I could tell a little that you were catching feels, and I didn't want to lead you on and hurt you." Morgan said, "I really appreciate that. I'm just a big baby, and when I open myself up like that to someone, it's because I'm really into them, contrary to what my profession may lead you to think. But I'm glad we could talk about this. I appreciate you talking about this with me, even though you aren't obligated to at all." I said, "Of course, I'm really glad we're talking about it too, because I didn't like feeling awkward or having a loose end." And she said, "Yeah, same. W." I respond with a cool sunglasses smiley face, and that was the last time we talked. So you can see why I was a bit surprised when Morgan went on stream and said what she said. Morgan not only brought my current girlfriend into the situation on stream without her consent, she also name dropped my girlfriend and revealed that we were in a relationship, which was not public information. I'm very private about my relationships, so this was a big blow. Morgan also brought my ex-girlfriend into the picture without her consent and has strongly hurt her because of this. Damn. She lied about conversations with my ex-girlfriend. She wrongly stated that I had been having a multiple-month affair with my current girlfriend while I was dating my ex-girlfriend. She lied that we had been consistently sexting when we only sexted for one night in August, and I have all of our text messages to prove that. She also lied about not knowing who my current girlfriend was, because she did know who that was and she used it as a segue to name drop her. She also falsely claimed that I was cheating on my current girlfriend, which is not true. And for transparency, on day one of me dating my girlfriend, I informed her that I had recently slept with Morgan, and she told me it was not an issue. Following when I had that text conversation with Morgan in June where we smoothed things over, Morgan began hanging out with our ex-employee Leighton more, and I have not heard from her since that conversation until I saw her stream. Now, if you're wondering why I'm bringing up Leighton again, I'm going to explain. A former employee of SuperMega named Leighton Stollard has made some very serious accusations against me and Ryan. I did not plan on, nor did I want to make a segment of this video based around this, but after everything Leighton has said about us publicly, I feel that I have no choice but to respond and give my side of the story and show receipts. We fired Leighton from working at SuperMega in March 2023, and since then, he has led a vindictive campaign to cancel us, to deplatform us, to ruin our image. Basically, we were not happy with his performance. He had been causing problems with his mood swings and outbursts at the office, as well as a general performance that we didn't like. We made the difficult decision to let him go. Leighton himself actually suggested leaving SuperMega prior to being terminated. So when he stated on stream that we were looking for any reason to fire him, this simply isn't true. Here's a text he sent to me and Ryan in the week leading up to his termination. I'm sorry I messed up so much with my position. It's not being harsh. I know it's the both of your company, and all of this makes the two of you look bad. I could step away from the merch stuff if you guys feel like I'm not doing enough for the role. I'm sorry I've messed up so much. I'm really sorry to the both of you that I've caused so many internal issues plus public issues. No one else is messing up as much as I am, and especially when there's only 6 of us, I'm sure it really shows. I 100% understand if you guys are ready for me to leave SuperMega and let someone else take care of my responsibilities. It's not fair to you two that I keep screwing up. I feel like I'm the new Jackson causing massive issues to the company rather than being an asset. I don't know if my role is worth saving anymore, but I'm willing to transfer to working from home or any other option so I can focus on the merge. I'm sorry I've put you two through so much stress in the past 2 years. So yes, as you can see, Leighton was aware of his performance and the issues that were taking place with his job, and we were not looking for any reason to fire him. We did not want to fire him. Leighton's position fell under the classification of at-will employment in California. This means that we are able to fire him at any time for any reason. This does not include severance. However, we felt bad because this is not an ideal situation, so we decided to give him severance when he left. Severance is a very legal matter, which we didn't realize. It's not as easy as just writing a check and giving it to someone on the way out the door. We essentially had to contract an employment attorney specifically to do this. Here's an email with our lawyer explaining that. We gave Leighton $12,000 in severance, which he admitted on stream he wasn't even supposed to get, technically, but was still offended that it was only $12,000. For reference, in California, a typical severance package consists of 1 week's pay for every year the employee was with the company. We gave Leighton 2 months of pay and told him that he could dictate the narrative of his departure, that we would not tell people he was fired, and that we would always be here for him in any way that he might need. He signed the severance agreement, stormed out, and immediately blocked us on everything. We were concerned at this point because in the months prior, someone who had been with Leighton and a group of his friends told us that he had been flaunting that if things ever went south with us, he could just easily cancel us. We actually brought this up to Leighton in a meeting that a reliable source had told us this. He swore that he never said that, and he swore that he would never do that. We were still wary after that because that actually wasn't the first time we had heard that from someone. So fast forward to Creator Clash 2023. On the day me and Ryan returned home, Leighton took to Twitter to accuse us of homophobia. We responded to Leighton and provided more context to situations that he had left context out of. We also provided people with the information that he not only propagated a lot of the jokes that he claimed to be offended by, but he participated in the jokes. He even encouraged them. We always wanted Leighton to feel comfortable even when we were making jokes. We never wanted him to feel targeted with any jokes. His tone changed completely the moment he was fired. And as proof of that, here are screenshots from several occasions where I made sure Leighton was comfortable with these types of jokes, to which he always replied yes, and even in one message said it would be weird if we stopped. In this message, Leighton says he sees no issues with the jokes. Here he says he feels more comfortable around us than anyone. And I said, real talk, we absolutely love having you as a part of SuperMega. You've completely revolutionized our company. Leighton responds by saying, I love all the gay jokes you guys throw at me. And I said, you're a crucial member now. If they're ever too much, though, just tell us. And he said, I'm so fucking happy to hear that.
Oh, no. He actually literally did the actual literal check-in.
Love working with you guys. Nah, you guys have never offended me. I think Justin is nervous that it'll come off as homo.
Oh. So in this part of the world, every fucking loser that threw their lot in with this Leighton person should fall. They should all fall, but there's not going to be anything. They're just going to like gloss over it, huh? So the Nick Green loser, the Lex loser, I guess Morgue Pie, if she decided to join in as well, all these motherfuckers should fall for it. Cringe. But there's going to be zero accountability for any of them, huh?
Homophobic, but I love you guys and the gay jokes. It would be weird if you guys held back, LMAO. I jokingly said screenshotting all this to cover my ass, which he said LMAO to. Here's another instance where I said also...
This is like the 15 different girls I've talked to who have been like, oh, I would never go crazy. LOL, I can't believe XYZ girl did that. And then I go, ha ha ha, I've heard that one before. You'd be surprised how many particular girls you know about that I've had that exact conversation with.
Legit, if we're making too many gay jokes, please tell me. We're always fucking kidding, but I get it if it gets too much, haha. He responded by saying I looked like an F slur. I said, okay, perfect response, LMAO. We're gonna do some awesome shit, man. And he said, I've never felt more at home with a job. This is not to mention the numerous times Ryan and I brought this up in person with him in meetings, making sure he was comfortable with any jokes that were made about sexuality, and he responded with the same sentiment. Something to note is that while Leighton worked at SuperMega, he also accepted and held a full-time position at the merch company, which fulfilled our merch. So after Leighton's call-out post and after we posted our response, he was advised by his employer that starting shit publicly with one of the company's bigger clients was a bad look and a horrible business decision. Leighton made an agreement with his employer that he would not cause any further drama, but he was furious that he could not say more. Leighton was extremely disgruntled that we fired him. He felt that it wasn't unfair, and he felt like he needed to get even by taking away our platform. I later received anonymous screenshots that were leaked from a Discord server that's just dedicated to hating on SuperMega, the members of which created and spread horrible lies about my ex-girlfriend on Tumblr. They have harassed me for years. Some of them also write underage sexual assault fanfiction. These screenshots detailed the exact situation Leighton was in with his employer. That's how I knew that they were real, because I knew about this agreement, as well as a plan to get other people to speak out against us, so Leighton would then be free to cancel us himself. The Discord message reads as follows. Leighton works for a big merch company called, I'm gonna go ahead and just censor the name, which he was working with while working for SuperMega. And when all the homophobia allegations came out, a big billionaire sponsor for said company told them that they need to drop SuperMega as a client and fire Leighton. Said company refused to fire Leighton and still kept SuperMega on as a client. If we can get SuperMega in enough hot water that the sponsor wants to drop them again without getting Leighton fired, then Leighton can come out and say whatever he wants about them. We just need a piece of gossip that's a big enough deal that a sponsor will want to drop SuperMega. Our friend is friends with Too Mad, and Too Mad hates Matt, so he might have some dirt on him. Then another message reads, most importantly, that Leighton wants to cancel SuperMega, but he needs someone else to come forward first. Another thing is that Leighton somehow has one of Marvelous' screenshots of her conversations with Ryan, and was thinking about using that as leverage to cancel him, but it's not enough. And Discord user, of course he needs your permission first. Will you be willing to come forward, even anonymously, with your experiences with Ryan? This is all from April, right after Leighton made his initial statement, and because I wondered if I'd ever have to use this, I emailed this to myself as evidence, which you can see in this video. I am opening up the email and showing the date as proof. We worried that this would be the case, and it soon proved true. Shortly after, one of Leighton's best friends, who is Lex's boyfriend, tried to instigate drama on Twitter by lying and saying that he has heard us say the N-word multiple times. In reality, we've only met this individual a handful of times, and it's mostly been at social events, and always accompanied by Lex. So to think that we would just casually be dropping the N-word with a hard R in front of not only someone who's a stranger, but also a woman of color, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. He also mentioned the Chuck E. Cheese joke, and I don't think it's a coincidence that a short time before he posted this stuff, Leighton replied to a tweet about SuperMega with a gif of Chuck E. Cheese. Leighton denied that he even knew his friend was going to say anything, or that Leighton was involved with this.
Oh, they were working on this all behind the scenes. That's so cute. And they use Lex's little story to build on it. Oh, my face when we sprinkle a little sexual assault shit here and I fucking try to fuck with people. How ultra cute. Wow.
But I think it's a little too coincidental. That didn't really go anywhere, and then after that, things were relatively quiet for a while. Leighton would frequently slander myself and Ryan to fans on his Discord server. He even went as far as to join a fan's 18-year-old birthday drunken Twitter space to shit talk us. This stuff was creeping us out. He was obsessed with us and wouldn't leave us alone. And at this point, we were fully expecting more of Leighton's close friends to eventually speak out about us for one reason or another, and now a lot of them have. Now, I want to make something very clear. I am not downplaying Lex's situation with Dawn or her coming forward with that. I'm in no way saying that her coming forward with the Dawn situation is a ploy by Leighton to get us canceled. I think it's very brave that Lex came forward, and I am not contributing that to Leighton. That was poorly handled by me and Ryan, and we take full responsibility. However, there's a lot of other stuff that I think the dots can be connected. But after Lex came forward, Leighton wasted no time to go to Twitter to make her story about himself and to jump on the opportunity to air out his personal grievances with us. People on Twitter even noticed this, and they were quick to call it out. He finally had the freedom to exaggerate, misrepresent, and flat out lie about myself, Ryan, our friends, our partners, and our company. He did a 3-hour stream, so I'm not going to go into every point, obviously. It seems that he tried to throw anything and everything he possibly could think of at the wall to see what would stick. I think that's pretty obvious and telling of his true motive here. So let me start off by Leighton once again stating that Ryan and I don't care about suicide, and we would frequently make jokes about our friend Daniel committing suicide. This is so unbelievably offensive and honestly disgusting to me. To weaponize the death of one of our best friends whom he did not even know in a pathetic attempt to smear our names and make us look worse is not only low, but it shows a complete disregard for caring about suicide and mental health, except for when it's convenient to use as an excuse, a crutch, or a weapon. Throughout the stream, Leighton portrays myself and Ryan as horrible monsters who mistreated Rab and Lex and commonly complained about them at the office. While it is true that we had complaints about their extended stay at our office, Leighton was no stranger to complaining about this with us, and there are even texts to show that he was frustrated and complained just as much as us. Leighton also said that we repeatedly made him uncomfortable by exposing ourselves to him around the office. It's true that we did do a lot of crude jackass-style bits around the office, and that's apparent in our videos too, but if Leighton ever felt uncomfortable by any of that, he never showed it, and he never brought it up. I find it a little ironic that he complained about this, considering, for example, in December we were recording a podcast when he came in unannounced and showed us his cock and balls. Hey, Leighton.
Hey. Whoa. Do you see his balls?
Leighton, you want to come take a seat?
Do you see his balls? I don't think it's appropriate for the podcast. You want to wrap yourself in a towel.
That is a three-hander. That is a three-hander.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. He's not lying.
Or before he came around the corner, he stood there for 3 minutes going,
Chuffing his shit.
You're chuffing it, dude.
He said, lie detector test, I'm completely soft right now. But he looked up.
So this is a complete flip of when he said they randomly showed me their cock and balls for no reason, right?
Brittany saw 3 beautiful men sitting down, so who knows?
That's true. Leighton, you know what we're going to do to prove that later? We're going to pants you at a random time.
It's a damn shame no woman.
Well, he showed us his penis. That is a 3-hander.
Another huge accusation that he made is that we love to toss around the N-word. I'll admit we make crude jokes behind the scenes, obviously, but we would never drop the N-word. I know our past on YouTube is more questionable in 2016 to 2017, 2018, during that time period, and I know that a lot of the jokes we made were very questionable and offensive, but now pushing 30, we have grown a lot and know that that is not acceptable, and that word is never being used between us in any context. To state otherwise is a flat-out dishonest lie, and it's a low-hanging attempt to make us look bad because honestly, it's really easy. You don't need any proof. You can just say that we said the N-word. The Chuck E. Cheese joke is real, but the joke was that you can't say his middle name. It's a really stupid joke. It's not even funny. The joke is based on the trivia fact where people are like, do you know what Chuck E. Cheese's middle name actually is, what the letter stands for? The joke is that it's such a horrible word, you can't say it, and it's shocking. We have never said the actual word when doing that joke. That's not even funny. And we've even done this joke on the channel in Let's Plays. It's not something we've tried to hide. It's also a very old joke. I think this was back from the Tucker Brothers era. But again, we have never used the actual N-word when doing that joke. The joke is that you can't say his middle name. Really highbrow humor right there. Leighton also joined in on discussing my personal relationships and my love life. He twisted the truth to make it sound a lot worse. For context and honesty's sake, I was in a 3-year relationship, and last year I broke that off in a dishonest way. I met and fell for my current girlfriend while I was still in the relationship, and one night while intoxicated on alcohol and shrooms, I confessed my feelings and I kissed her. In the days following, the guilt ate me alive. It ate her alive as well, and I subsequently ended my relationship with my girlfriend of 3 years. It was an absolutely horrible thing to do, and I don't think I'm ever going to forgive myself for that. I put her through a lot of pain and stress, and it's very painful for her to be brought back into it now. Leighton and Morgan also lied. While I was unfaithful that night, I never engaged in a sexual relationship or took it anything beyond kissing until I was in a relationship with my current girlfriend. I know that that doesn't make it better. I just wanted to set the record straight on that. That was the first and last time in my life I've ever done anything like that. It was out of character for me, and being intoxicated is not an excuse. It was shitty. It was scummy. I regret it wholeheartedly, but my guilt is not the issue here. The issue is the weight that my ex-girlfriend has to carry of the consequences of my selfish actions, and I am truly sorry to her. So for a year later, for her to be pulled back into the picture without her consent is very painful for her. And while this situation and my actions were scummy, it had nothing to do with anything online or the initial issues raised by Lex about Dawn. And I don't think it was appropriate or necessary to drag both my current girlfriend and my ex-girlfriends into the line of fire. They are both being harassed viciously, and their personal lives are being used as weapons to make me look worse, and I think that's completely unacceptable. I met my current girlfriend in June of 2022. She had no clue about the Dawn situation. She was not connected to the situation at all. It was even stated on the
I'm good on this
stream that I had asked Jim to get a house and move in with my current.
Can you explain the mentality of how someone could do something like this? I would legitimately kill myself if I came out with something like this and it 180'd on me this bad. I'm not entirely sure. I feel like it's people, I don't know, actually, I can't even guess. It must be like a lack of accountability in their life. Like, I think there are some people that have gone through life without being held accountable for mistakes. So whether that's because they've got wealthy parents, affluent background, whether that's because they have friends that like always gas them up and never, you know, tell them, hey, you fucked up. Whether it's people with culty fan bases, I don't know. There are some people, I guess, that just have no accountability in their life, so they feel like they can do this over and over and over again, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Girlfriend, so I could sneak over and have sex with her under the guise that I was just meeting up with a coworker. You know, because I live by myself and there's definitely nowhere I could have sex. It's just an absolutely ridiculous, weird claim. Doesn't make sense. Eventually, Leighton ended his monetized stream with a self-promo and immediately took to Twitter to gloat about our downfall. Once again, completely taking Lex's situation and making it about himself. You guys know that this is not my style, and I did not want to have to dedicate a section of this video responding to Leighton in the way I'm doing so, but with what he has said publicly about me, I have no choice but to respond. I'm asking that people use their common sense and maybe take a step back and look at the big picture here, and I hope that people can see that there is a personal vendetta that is being blown up here and used. To end this video, I want to say that I don't expect people to watch this and uncancel me. I don't expect people to flip back over to my side. Do not harass anyone that was mentioned in this video. I'm not sending any harassment. I did not want to get into a lot of this, but when accusations like these are publicly made, it's fully within my right to be able to respond and defend myself and provide context where I feel like it's lacking. A lot of people, mainly Leighton and his close friends, have used this as an opportunity to capitalize off of what was initially someone's story of sexual assault. It seems like the story lost its plot and quickly devolved into a dogpile on me and Ryan, when I don't think we necessarily were the focus to begin with.
Damn, wait, these guys did lose a decent chunk of subs though, if that's true. If they were at 1 million and they're at 950K.
It was about an assault. I anticipate many more people online will continue to do this because that's the internet and that's what it is. Overall, I would like for people to understand that the situation is not entirely black and white. There's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of personal feelings involved on all sides. The internet is very quick to pick sides with this kind of stuff and very hesitant to budge. But I hope that with the additional context I provided in this video, you have a clearer view of the bigger picture. I am not expecting forgiveness or redemption. I messed up when it came to Lex with the Dawn situation. I'm not expecting forgiveness from Lex, but I do apologize entirely for how I fumbled that situation and how I wasn't a better friend. I'd like to also apologize to everyone that has become collateral damage in this situation. That includes the employees of SuperMega. That includes friends that have been brought into it. That includes partners that have been brought into it. That includes girlfriends and exes that have been brought into it. I am deeply sorry that my actions have culminated back into something that is affecting you. Finally, I want to apologize to all of the viewers and fans that I've let down. I am deeply ashamed of myself, and I wish that I could redo things, but I can't. So I understand your anger and frustration, and I'm sorry. Anyways, thank you for
almost
listening.
60,000 subs lost.
I hope you all take
Jeez.
care.
Damn. Oh, this channel must be pretty old too, because it's pretty stagnant, huh? They basically lost like 2 years worth of subscribers, is what it looks like. Why is losing 5% of subs so significant? If I had to guess, if we were to graph what subscriptions look like, lost subs are really painful because you have, if we're gonna say black is our absolute sub count, you're probably going to have something like, depending on the style of channel, your actual subs that are engaging and watching your shit. Like, let's say that you grow really big initially, and then your channel kind of like dies for a little bit, and then you can have like another bump. Maybe it does like kind of like this thing, especially for older channels. You run into an issue where you've got like very old unengaged subscribers. See, this is why a lot of channels with like a million subs have like half or less of the views that I do a month, right? Because my channel is all alive and active, right? The scary thing is that, let's say, and actually for some channels, actually it can be even worse than that. This channel might have been dead for a bit, picked up a little bit, might even lost some like active subs, right? The scary thing for this is you might have a channel where, say you have like 1 million active subs, or I'm sorry, 1 million subs like by the number. It might be the case that like for the actual people that are engaging with your content, maybe it's like 350K. Like that's like about the views that you're doing maybe. And the scary thing is, let's say that a dramatic event happens and you drop 50,000 subs. You're not really losing. If you're losing a sub, if a person is manually clicking a button, then it's probably somebody that is like actively engaging with YouTube content, generally, probably, or it's a higher likelihood. So you're not really losing 50,000 out of 1 million. You're probably losing 50,000 out of 350K. That'd be my guess. That's like the scary thing about losing subscribers, is there are probably people that are actively engaged. My statement on what happened with Lex, Updog, and SuperMega. I just want to start off by apologizing to Lex for any trauma she may feel regarding our past relationship and everyone just finding out about this who feels they're being lied to, out in the dark in regards to what happened during November 2021. This is my side of what happened. Lex and I were invited by Matt to stay over at his place for a week. We've been intimate since day one, but on the third night, I had asked her for oral sex. She at first said no because she had a cold sore. Later, I asked her again and she said yes, but to be careful not to be too rough. During the intimate act, I had pushed down on her head, after which she recoiled and told me that I was being too rough. I then profusely apologized, and we ended up watching TV and going to bed after. Things were normal for the rest of the week until the trip was over and went back home. During this time, I was under no impression that anything traumatizing had occurred. However, I realized now that this is extremely upsetting for her. Our relationship seemed to have not changed. We were talking on Discord almost daily and planning future trips together. However, a couple months later, when we met again during Creator Clash, during the trip, me and Lex stayed together in an Airbnb and noticed she was growing very distant towards me. I had asked her about why she was distant and if everything was okay, but I was not given a straight answer. On the final day, she told me why she was so troubled. She told me that I was too rough with her last time and that it reminded her of her ex behavior. I tried to apologize for my behavior. We talked a little bit after, but after the conversation had ended, she had broken up with me and I left the Airbnb to stay with her other friends. At this time, I contacted Matt and told him what had just happened. Matt offered to fly me out to LA to stay at his place for to figure things out. At his house, I explained to him and Ryan what happened and the details about the November trip, what she told me after Creator Clash. After that, I was staying over at his place for the next couple of weeks. Later, Matt had told me that he had made some arrangements for his friends to sleep over at his place, moving me to stay at the office. A couple of days at the office had passed. Matt called me and said that Lex was on her way to the office. I was given no prior notice. She was going to be there, moving to LA. It was at this time I decided to leave, stay with other friends. After a week, I flown back to Germany. I was in contact with SuperMega. They're not going to be using my art anymore. After that, they'd cut contact with me, and I have not heard from them since. Following that, I decided to send Lex another apology via Discord, but I got no reply at all from her. After this time, I was not going to hear back from Lex or SuperMega for the foreseeable future. Huh. Why? Yeah, I guess I am going to go full rape apologist, I guess. I want to know who paid for this Airbnb. I really want to know that. During the trip, me and Lex stayed together in an Airbnb, and I noticed she was growing distant towards me. On the final day, she dumped me. Did he cover this entire Airbnb? She stayed there for the Creator Clash event and then broke up with him after getting a free week's hangout? I'm so curious who paid for this Airbnb. I really want to know. You sent me a screenshot. Is there like a streamable or a video or something talking instead of just this horrible like 27 pixel screenshot?
What happened with SuperMega? Listen, Nick made a video about it, but all you need to know is that they're bad. Go to their subreddit. There's plenty of information. Google SuperMega subreddit and go there now. Look at anything. Look at the first post. It's been trending all weekend.
And now they've got a downfall counter.
It's funny how fast everyone turned on SuperMega. Yeah, and I think that goes to show, right? It's kind of self-fulfilling in a sense.
Is it really that unreasonable for her to wait until after the event to break up with him after the event if they plan on going together? What? Yeah? So there was this guy and he kind of raped me, but he's going to cover a whole Airbnb. I figure maybe I can just go and chill with him. And then I can...
Hi, what's up?
Okay, yeah, this is a hit piece. Yeah, this is a hit piece.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, and it's like a coordinated hit piece too. There's like a lot of
it's
people.
It's an op.
But it's 2 months severance. Like if like that's genuinely nothing. Like I'm sorry, like yeah, like it's money obviously, but 2 months severance is so fucked up, and it wasn't even like they told me we're gonna also try to see if we can extend medical benefits or anything. They just didn't care. They're like, all right, here's 2 months rent, and you can never fucking talk about us. And they also tell me, you know, by the way, they all the time for 2+ years would tell me, hey, Leighton, you're going to be on the podcast soon. You're going to get your own episode of the podcast. Never. When I got fired, it wasn't like, they didn't say, hey, we want to send you off with a podcast and help set you up for like your own shit because we know you do your own streaming. They, you know, they were just like, yeah, you figure this out on your own. They're like, you can tell people however you want. Just, yeah, they're like, you're just done here. Just do what you want. And so they just fucking were done with me. And I didn't want to talk to them. And, cause I've fucking hated them ever since, last summer.
At the time, I'm going to say that's cringe because you need like a lot of evidence to support that. But I think that with the latent shit,
have it, I think.
Yeah, the gay app shit and the Discord, and then like all the different groups coming together, and then all the cringe, like the counter text that I think the one guy leaked, unless these guys have come out with something more or counter texting.
They've not said anything.
Yeah.
And that stream that they're referencing, I can find you probably the stream right now if you want to have it. But
well, I mean, it doesn't matter. They're literally sitting here with a fucking sub counter with both of their soy faces, like trying to celebrate.
There's a part that makes it better.
Yeah?
During the stream, it's like a little party. They're smoking weed, like hanging out, watching the sub count go down, cheering it on. Mm-hmm. It's like the most cringe thing ever. And I mean, thankfully, like I think a lot of SuperMega did lose a lot of subs. Those subs they lost, considering their critical thinking skills, or maybe not people they wanted anyway. But it still sucks. It still really sucks.
Oh, can you put together, hold on, I actually hate everybody involved in this. I see, because these fuckers have farmed me in the past too. That Nick fucking loser has farmed my shit. And now I see Ethan is that girl's boyfriend, right?
Ethan is online. Keithan is that girl's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yes.
He farmed 60,000 likes on that Farah video about me. Destiny said the leading cause of rape is girls not being upfront with what they want. Rap behavior. You should put together like a video or a tweet. I'll boost it. I'll signal boost it. Nothing will happen to these people, but these people should all like lose their fucking like careers. Like this is actually insane. Not lose their careers, but there's like no. I hate it that there's no accountability for like dumb shit like this. Right? It's literally. Just
I got a little pissy actually seeing your coverage because of one thing that I'm not mad at you, but I know the way they're gonna. If the only the only response they would ever give is they're gonna clip you saying I'm gonna go full rape apologist, or they're gonna clip you saying Nick should go off himself.
I am.
And they're gonna clip that and they're gonna say,
should.
do we really think this is the guy we should listen to? And then their audience isn't gonna care because
Hey,
their
at least
audience
I'm not
doesn't actually
lying about
care.
Shit. Yeah, fuck it.
No, I appreciate
That's
that.
why
I
you have to
appreciate
be
that.
the warrior to carry my sword. All I can do is give you my armies. Okay, you can't fly
appreciate
my
that.
banner, but you can fly the banner of Turkey Tom, and I can give you my soldiers. Okay.
I appreciate that, but what I'm saying is like no matter what, like you can archive it, we can show it in a video, like 100,000 people can agree, 200,000, 300,000. It's a situation where like very similar to Keffel's audience, like they don't actually care about the truth, I don't think.
I disagree. I think if you point out enough of these inconsistencies, I think it does chip away their armor. I think Keffel's audience does. I think ultimately that was her downfall, was pointing out inconsistency after inconsistency after inconsistency, and then a lot of people pick up on those things and they carry those like arguments forward. I think it's important. I think it's an important.
Maybe.
This is like a type of thing. I know the mega people aren't like autistic like me, but this is the type of thing that I would write a manifesto over, because and let me be ultra clear, because I barely dipped my toes in this. I don't know who any of these fucking people are like 2 hours ago, so I could be totally wrong, and you might be a fucking piece of shit that's misleading on all of this. But what it feels like to me is basically the Leighton guy got fired from a job, and because he's so fucking ass mad about it, he's basically running around DMing people like, bro, you got any dirt? Bro, you got any dirt? Bro, you got any dirt? And then whatever inkling he can get, whatever whiff he can get of anything, he's like stretched it out into the most extreme shit ever.
Yeah.
So one is this like bullshit essay story, and then the other is like, they say the N-word all the time and blah, blah, blah. Of which, by the way, when that brain dead Aspie fuck that Nick dude was reading that Reddit post, unless I'm missing something, there wasn't a single shred of proof of any of the claims in that entire Reddit post. Were there?
No, none,
Okay, yeah,
none,
nothing.
not a single one.
Single
All
shred.
that Reddit post is just summarizing Leighton's stream.
Yeah.
Which Nick, once again, I brought this up. You were like, it's a little too early to say that, whatever. He hasn't really gotten into it, but like my number one issue with Nick's video is like, even if he's friends with them, like if he didn't let that completely affect his coverage, I wouldn't care that much. But he was totally uncritical. He didn't say the word allegation once in that whole thing. He treated it all as fact. And the fact that none of them have responded,
even the fact that some of it is directly contradicted, like the gay jokes thing, that destroys his credibility for me.
It does, and they're all friends with him. They're all friends with that guy.
All of them are. Yeah,
None of them have denounced him whatsoever.
To another Morgue Pie video again. She's just a worse Heather Deep Throat. I don't even support her porn career anymore. Okay, what a horrible person. Yeah, I don't like. I feel like there needs to be like a big accounting. There needs to be like somebody needs to write a manifesto on this. It can't be me. Okay, somebody needs to do an accounting of all of this shit, because this is insane. This is like really crazy. No,
it is insane. What I did is I did like a 6-hour stream where I started off. I watched Nick's video. I watched Matt's response. I talked to Chud Logic for a bit to get like the most extreme take I could get, and then what I did is I reacted to Nick's response. NickIsNotGreen did a response to all of it, and it's such a like, I don't know. Have you seen it yet? I don't think you probably haven't.
Nick has made a response video.
He made a response video, and it's like it's just bad. It's just really fucking bad. He
what's his name again?
Does the
Nick on Green. Nick is not green.
I'll send you a link. I'll just DM you. It's a really bad response. Basically, he does like the bare fucking minimum he can to be like, yeah, I mean, I guess like maybe I kind of regret like not, you know, being a little more careful. Like I shouldn't have brought that stuff up. But like he's the whole reason why it got so messy. Like he is the reason why the well is so poisoned. Like
yeah, all of these guys, when you uncritically amplify friends' claims, yeah. Also, and then to be clear, while they're all saying on the back of this that it's gross that everybody's not taking sexual assault seriously, like these are literally the reasons why so many people don't take a lot of these claims seriously.
They're not
like,
treating
these
it
guys
seriously.
Are doing it. No, they're just using it as a launching pad for a hit piece. Like that's all this is, which is super ultra gross. Oh my god, an hour video. I don't know if I can watch that much of a guy who's like never put a razor above his lips in his entire life. Like I don't
a
know
lot
if
of
I
it's
can watch
stupid.
this.
If you just skip to the he says there's a part where he's like, what I could have changed. If you skip to that part, it's in the chapters, I think.
What I could have changed.
It's something like that. It's like at the very end, pretty much.
My thoughts on everything.
It might be that one. My thoughts on everything.
Okay, gotcha. I might do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
It's just frustrating. I might do like a bigger video about it because I noticed that like a 3-hour stream, even your stream, like it's hard for the average person to get onto because not everyone watches streams. So
I think that's why it's so important to do a manifesto. It sounds cringe when I say.
Well, or just do a video. I feel like
having it I think doing a video and a manifesto is good because having a written source is good because people can link to it. Like, oh, look at this claim and look at that. And rather than like, look at the timestamp of this like 45-minute video, I think it's nice to just have like a write-up.
That's fair, yeah. And it makes it more accessible for other people
exactly,
too, right?
Yeah. And people can link to it and spread it and share it so that people, yeah. I guess what I hate about this is that like, I don't know the SuperMega guys. And also, to be clear, I'll reiterate, there could be other things behind the scenes that I haven't seen that I'm missing that actually makes them huge pieces of shit. But it kind of seems like...
with everything we have publicly, like...
Steven, have you thought about hiring a scriptwriter for some shit like this?
What?
Hiring a scriptwriter for a video like this.
You mean it's for a manifesto, I assume, or like if you were to do like a pre-recorded video.
I'm not looking for a script. I'm looking for a manifesto, like the ones that
He's
I write.
saying like if you were to do like if you were to hire someone to write it and like get it done for you, do the research, and then you could publish it as like a video.
You spend like dozens of hours writing these manifestos. Just hire a professional writer.
It's hard because usually I need a group of people to do research, and I haven't found somebody whose writing style I like yet to actually like write the prose. But maybe I don't know. I need to look for it. I have like good groups of people for research, but
people really like prepared like scripted out content for YouTube. It does so much better than like the React stuff. And for something like this, if you want people to actually watch it,
yeah, you talk about wanting your whole production company. That's what it is, buddy.
Yeah, there's manifestos on shit like this.
Well,
you make a video. You make a video out of it, like a well-edited video.
So many people, like professional writers out there looking for work. There has to be someone who'll do good at this.
Okay, I'll think about it.
Yeah, but I mean, just to give you an idea of how well connected these guys are, like someone like NickIsNotGreen is friends with Danny Gonzalez, who's someone who has like millions of subs and is like a big commentary channel. Friends with Hassan, he's been on his streams a bunch of times. I assume Ethan and him just like swap friends probably, if I had to guess, because they do like a band together. They do some like trashy rap. I don't really know, but yeah, there's just like a whole community of these people that's like formed, and their covering of allegations has been like consistently missing the mark in my opinion. And this is like probably the most egregious example, but there was another recent example that a lot of my chats asked me to talk about, where NickIsNotGreen and Hassan covered these like it's just like these random white chicks on TikTok who were like dancing or whatever. And they basically they called them racist for being like, you know, into anime or whatever, and like doing a little bit of like a voice. They called them like horrible racist, cultural appropriation, all this stuff.
Yeah, they ended up quitting.
And it got them to resign.
Yeah,
because they got relentlessly harassed and like doxxed because of it. And I'm not saying that Nick and Hassan endorsed that particular behavior, but I mean you draw the line, right?
They did endorse that behavior. That was wild. I remember. Yeah.
Did they endorse that in specific? I didn't see that.
I mean, not specifically, but like when you call a whole bunch of people.
Did you say tacitly?
Well, I mean, like racist is like the N-word for progressives. It's like the worst thing that you can throw on somebody because you know you're sicking your entire fan on somebody to like destroy their shit as much as possible. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's super frustrating. Maybe I'll do a manifesto. I'll see. I don't know. I hate to say this because it sounds like so kind of self-absorbed, but there's just a lot of other stuff I'm also working on. There's so many allegations and stuff, but
so you just don't give a fuck about the victims, the real victims here.
Exactly.
Say,
the victims.
Say you don't care about SuperMega. Say you're excited for them to lose. Are you ahead of them in subs now?
Yeah, I guess. No, actually, I'm not. I'm not yet. Almost. Give me a month.
Yeah, competition. That's fine. I understand it. Cool business, man. That's cool.
I'm glad you understand. I'm glad you're on the same page. Yeah, it is super frustrating though, and the more frustrating part is, I mean, I guess there could be some inconsistencies shown, but I think that the immediate turnoff for a lot of their audience will just be like, NickIsNotGreen will be like, well, Turkey Tom said the N-word, or like on Discord, like that, like they're gonna say that, and that's gonna be the whole meme.
Something that I would encourage you to, and it takes me a lot to get to this point, is you see that a lot, and if you make a video, you will see that, but there's two things happening that are really hard to see, and I promise they're happening. It took me a long time to see that these are happening. One is the fans are getting less allegiant, even if they're fighting still in that court, because these things do pile up, number one. And number two, there are people in the middle. There are people definitely in your fan base. And there are going to be some people in their fan base who are like, ooh, that actually is really shitty. It does happen every time, but it's important to start like a running track record of these things so that the things build momentum and continue to happen in the future if they fuck up. Because if nobody calls them out on this, then the next time something happens, who cares? But like, because let's say that this happens and it's like a, you know, it's a whatever thing, and their fan base doesn't care that much, but a little. If they fuck up again in the future, and then you do another accounting, there are going to be some people like, okay, like I think Nick is a good guy and blah, 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 but he does have a history of messing this up a little bit. I think he'd do better. And then if it happens a third time, that's like that type of building is what gets people to be like, okay, this is too much. Like I've seen this happen with other content creators before. Even when it seems hopeless and it seems like their fan bases are cults, people do respond to this. It's very hard to see it sometimes.
Hopefully you're right. I mean, that is a little bit confidence inspiring, but I always just worry about with stuff like that. Like when I'm interacting with like these sort of lefty sock dem communities, like, you know, very Zoomerish type stuff. Like I just know how kids my age are and how they kind of treat this stuff. And it's like, I think a lot of opinions will be invalidated just based on like, you know, a screenshot or something like that. I always, I don't know, worry about that. Like I'm sure you experienced that with like, you know, the old incest debate and whatever else. Like everyone just kind of invalidates everything you say based on a few old clips.
Yeah, but just own it and go forward, and then it's not a weapon. Okay, their weapon can't be your armor. Okay, so I just own it. I am racist.
You're right.
I do apologize for rape, and I hate women. And then boom, you just move on. Fuck it. Who cares?
You're right, but it's very just frustrating. It's just frustrating dealing with that, and it's like it makes me reconsider. Like, man, I wish. Because I'm 21 right now. I started YouTube when I was like 14. It makes me be like, oh, I wish I could have been a little more careful. Not for the sake of like saving face, but like it just would have not allowed them to just have this instant little own, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's frustrating, but you're fighting powerful people. It's not random dipshits. So it's going to take work no matter what. Even if you had a perfectly clean history, there's still going to be something that they'll get you for, or somebody related to that you get for. Like, it's a lot of work. Like, yeah, it's difficult, but it can be done. It's just, yeah. But I understand.
Yeah. Sorry. You're just cutting out super bad, but
oh, that's because you're internet is fucked right now. Love you. Be careful. Loser.
Love you. Bye bye.
I love you too. Bye.
Now, I do want to give a conclusion to how I feel about both of these responses. I do think that Matt and Ryan own up to a lot of the truly awful shit they did, and I think that was good. I also think there were a lot of instances where there was heavy miscommunication, and I do feel like a lot of the receipts they brought to the table make it easier to understand where they're coming from, while also understanding that this was handled very poorly, and most people in their shoes would have handled it much differently. Luckily, there's a lot of times where they do just outright admit that they fucked up. And I do think that their issues with Layden were handled poorly on all sides, and I think that Layden should not have spoke up as soon as he did about his experience. I never want to hold someone back from being able to talk about how they were felt in a certain situation, but specifically because it happened so quickly after Lex's video. And
is he going to address the total 180 view that you're going to have on like the gay jokes? Is he going to say anything about that, or?
Because the stream was so much longer and there were so many little claims made, I feel like he may have had a lot of emotions and held up resentment from how much he was experiencing while working for Matt and Ryan for a couple years. And I think when Lex was finally able to be heard, he was ready to tell his story, and he may have overstepped in that specific moment in time. I wish SuperMega just had the chance to respond to just Lex and her story, but even with all of the things they admit in the first half of the video, a part of SuperMega's fan base is relentlessly claiming that Matt and Ryan were just defaced by one disgruntled employee who had a vendetta to cancel them. And while I think that they do have evidence to show that Layden overstepped in terms of how he followed up Lex's video, and if I was Lex, I would understandably be very, very upset. But I think boiling down any of what she says in her story to just being controlled by Layden is pretty disgusting and untrue. None of this should have a massive effect on what SuperMega did and what they even admitted to doing in this video. Despite how many times Matt can say he messed up, this video insinuates strongly that Lex would not have stepped forward if it were not for Layden, and that all of these people, including myself, have bought into this agenda that we need to take down SuperMega. Because
you literally had the last 10 minutes of your video talking about all these random unrelated things about SuperMega. Yeah, people do have that opinion of it, but it's your fault. Like,
the ex-merch designer that you fired told us to.
I'm asking that people use their common sense and maybe take a step back and look at the big picture here. And I hope that people can see that there is a personal vendetta that is being blown up here.
And I do see how the people watching Matt's video can draw that conclusion when all of these stories are told by Matt in a way that feel like conspiratorial to him. But when so many different people are upset about shit you've done or said in the past to an extent where they'll ruin their career over it because they try to put out these videos and now they're being swarmed with hate.
Who's ruining their career? Wait, what? These guys were literally doing a live stream smoking on that SuperMega bozo pack or whatever. I don't know the meme. But like, what do you mean they're ruining their careers? What? These guys lost 60,000 subs. You have 1 million subs. You're pulling 2 to 3 million video views a month. It's not, maybe it's not dying, but like, oof, that's rough. For these guys to drop 50,000 active subs on this, and you're saying that the other peoples are the ones whose careers are at risk? This channel is in SuperMega stopped making content because of this. They quit. How active even is this fan base? Oh, the sub isn't even that big.
Forward and put themselves in the spotlight in this way, maybe that's something that you need to reflect on yourself about. And I think Matt displays this reflection.
God. He needs to, oh my God.
In the first half of the video, but as he talks about the role that Layden plays in this whole thing, I don't understand why his actions have to discredit the original story.
Because Layden seems to be connected to almost every single person involved in this, and he's the one with the biggest vendetta and something to gain. Now, to be clear, let's be fair. When I point out conspiracies, it's not enough to say this person has something to gain. It's not enough to say this person could have done that. This is possible, right? You need to show causal steps as well. You need to ask if something bad has happened. But it seems like that was demonstrated. You had Leighton making one claim out one side of his mouth about the gay jokes hurting him. And then on the other side, you had him saying, hey, like, oh, I like that you guys make gay jokes. It's actually super cool. It seems like there was talk of, there were one or two other things like that seemed pretty flipped when the other guys were showing the texts. There's so many fucking names here. What were the other ones? Remind me. See, this is why you need a manifesto.
Even said publicly that she was upset about the way Leighton handled the story.
The balls thing, the flashing the genitals. That was a 180 flip on what happened. Oh, and if there were texts, I don't know if I read those texts or something. If Leighton was bashing on Lex and Raph for overstaying their welcome as well, that's another thing. Yeah. Yeah, so it does seem, and then everybody is connected to Leighton here. It does seem to be like there is some connectedness here, enough to say that it looks like something goofy is happening in the background. I think it's a fair assumption. Here, I think it's a fair assumption.
And she was not under the impression that her story was going to cause him to say everything he did. None of those mistakes should have fallen on Lex. Why would Lex go out of her way to risk her career with thousands of people harassing her for, again, SuperMega's ex-merch designer guy? We have confirmed from several people, including Don, that yes, Don sexually assaulted Lex and Matt and Ryan kept him around. But then Lex doesn't tell her story until she meets Leighton, and then...
Have we confirmed that? What were did I miss? Maybe that was early in the video. What were the confirmations on that?
Suddenly, Leighton gets fired and convinces her to make
you're right. The responding to that random tweet with the Chuck E. Cheese video also looked really, really, really bad. True.
2-hour and 20-minute video telling her story. It's hard to wrap my head around why people would use Leighton's false judgment and personal grudge against Lex as if she didn't also provide proof for things SuperMega said that were never actually addressed in either of their response videos. Like one of the bigger texts that Lex showed where she asked Matt about Don claiming that SuperMega fired him without much of a reason, only to receive a text from Matt that didn't seem worried. He just said, "Be gone, foul beast," even though one of their ex-employees was lying to people about why he was fired and still talking to fans about it. I think that's insane to me. And it could really only either be Don lying to people about this so he doesn't have to admit what he did, or maybe the talk he had with SuperMega was confusing and vague to him. But we really never got any response about that.
I felt them downplaying it in real time, but I was across the state, like 5 hours away.
Wait, wasn't their response? Hold on, I'm sorry. Tell me if I'm misremembering. Didn't Matt give a direct response to this where Matt said we didn't want to say we're firing him and removing him because of SA because she said that she didn't want to make a huge deal about it and everybody to publicly know about it? Wasn't that explicitly said in the video, or am I mixing up names or events? I thought that was something that was explicitly said. That was explicitly referenced and mentioned.
Could do nothing about it, so that's when I decided I needed to be there. Matt had known since, or at least I told him, May 25th that I'd be in town on the 14th. On the 13th at 9 p.m., he messages me this. "Hey, can't wait to see you. Just an update. Dawn is staying at the office with Rav right now." I did not know what the fuck to say, so all I could say is, "What should I do?" "Oh, whatever you want. I was just updating you where Dawn was. My place is full at the moment, unfortunately." Texting me hours before I gotta be there that he just sent him to the place I'm staying at. He didn't have to do this. Found out he did this because he was tired of Dawn making a mess.
They don't even touch on the fact that Ryan liked art from Don after they fired him on Twitter, and Don tweeted out asking people for a place to stay when none of SuperMega's fans knew that he sexually assaulted someone else. I'm all for keeping Lex's story private if she wants it to be private, but there's gotta be a way to tell your fans in a safe way that Don is not someone who they should follow anymore, that he was let go for a reason that you can't talk about, but you need them to know that it's serious and that they shouldn't really engage with.
What, is it even that serious? Like, remember what I said before? You can't have like bad or uncomfortable or weird sexual interactions. It's always rape now. There's no such thing as like poorly communicated, bad, uncomfortable. No, it's rape. Rape, 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 rape. Rape, sexual assault, rape, 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 sexual assault. Like every single time. Like it can never be
with him anymore. I know this video does a lot of jumping back and forth, but that's what happens when we're looking at all these stories. But I do want to reflect on my original video and say that I do think I made a bit of a mistake, including Morg Pie and Leighton's stories in that particular video. I wanted my video only to be about Lex's story, and I got caught up in context that I personally thought was important and necessary for the story.
No, it wasn't. He's lying. He's lying. Do his fans not see that he's lying? Why did we need the last 10 minutes of random hit piece thing on SuperMega to add context to the story? What are you talking about? What part of it was relevant to the initial story?
Reflect on my original video and say that I do think I made a bit of a mistake, including Morg Pie and Leighton's stories in that particular video. I wanted my video only to be about Lex's story, and I got caught up in context that I personally thought was important and necessary for the story.
What did Morg Pie's story have to do with the sexual assault? What did all the other random allegations? What did Leighton at all have to do with the sexual assault?
But I really should have only touched on Lex's video from the start and what happened with her and Don and Matt and Ryan specifically, since that was my goal in the beginning of the video. You know, despite that, I still received several comments on the original video claiming that I put out my...
That wasn't your goal with the video, though. You know that your titles are public, you fucking moron, right? We can actually see...
Hey everyone,
Your video title is SuperMega is full of horrible people. That was your title. And then you spend the last like 10 minutes
I will
reading a stream recap from a girl that Matt twice that has absolutely no relation to anything else that's happened. And now you're like, I just wanted it to be about Lex. No, you didn't. You clout-hungry, disgusting, filthy motherfucker. What are you talking about?
Video about Lex without waiting for SuperMega to respond. And
What are them joking about like a friend that committed suicide, even if they had told those jokes? What does that have to do with Lex's story? If they, let's say they did joke about having the N-word middle name for Chuck E. Cheese, what does that have to do with a sexual assault story?
I was taking a side before hearing everybody's sides. And I thought I made this clear before, but of course I'm going to take the side of a personal friend of mine when she comes out with a story about her own sexual assault. This isn't like an online like normal thing where I look at all the facts and I make a decision. No.
Wait, did he just admit to being a biased partisan hack fuck? Wait, hold on. I must have misheard him. I'm sorry. I'm primed against this, to be clear. Hold on. I must have, because it sounded like he just said, oh, of course I'm not going to be objective. She's my friend. That's what it sounded like he said. But I must have misinterpreted, I think. Hold on. I must not have heard that correctly.
And that I was taking a side before hearing everybody's sides. And I thought I made this clear before, but of course I'm going to take the side of a personal friend of mine when she comes out with a story about her own sexual assault. This isn't like an online like normal thing where I look at all the facts and I make a decision. No.
What? This is a clown world statement. Hello? Hashtag believe all women? Of course, she's my friend. You think I'm gonna look at the facts? No, I'm gonna blindly side with her. What kind of a retarded statement is that? Why would you even say that? You're doing such a disservice to do the meme. You're literally the guy that everybody points to and they're like, this is why we don't take women essays seriously right now, is because simp fuck morons like you will literally believe any random fucking story in the hopes that you get like a whiff of fucking pity pussy after they're fucking single. Why would you even say something like this? Why would you, hold on. Let me slow it down to normal speed. I must be mishearing him. Let him finish his statement too. I'm not even letting him finish.
Video claiming.
I take back that whole rant because he might save it with something at the end. Maybe he'll be like, I'm not just gonna look at this. I'm not gonna, of course, she's my friend. She said sexual assault. I'm just gonna look at facts on the internet. And then he's gonna say, because I did an even more thorough investigation and she provided me with incontrovertible evidence that absolutely nails this guy to the wall. I don't need to do an online investigation because she provided so much strong proof beforehand that I saw that assured me 100% that every single thing she said was factually true. That he could say that after, okay? So
in that I put out my video about Lex without waiting for SuperMega to respond, and that I was taking a side before hearing everybody's sides. And I thought I made this clear before, but of course, I'm going to take the side of a personal friend of mine when she comes out with a story about her own sexual assault. This isn't like an online, like normal thing where I look at all the facts and I make a decision. No. My friend was
now he's about to save it. 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 Hold on.
Like normal thing where I look at all the facts and I make a decision. No. My friend was assaulted and never felt like she was able to be heard. And obviously, I believe her word. There is
Wait, I stopped him again. Hold on. It's still coming. I believe her word because she provided me with just the most solid evidence I've ever seen in my entire life. Hold on, I'm sorry.
No way she was able to be heard. And obviously, I believe her word. There is no way where I would look at that situation and hear her story. And do people think that just legitimately she just wants to outright lie about the way they treated her for no reason? I don't really understand where people are coming from when they call me a liar with an agenda and
I mean, you literally just admitted that you are a liar with an agenda. You are a channel covering something, saying that you want to spread somebody's account and do holding an accountability of the Super Omega people or whatever, but it's your friend and you're just covering her story and you're going to believe her at her word no matter what without doing any research. That's literally a liar with an agenda. In your own words, you literally have said it.
They call her a liar with an agenda. Where do you guys think we're coming from?
Funnily enough, this sort of attitude feeds back into the initial thing I said when, yeah, fuck, that's true. Which?
In the name of Zep.
Can somebody tell me, like, What part of Lex's story was this for? What part of Lex's story is this important for?
This video. And my favorite post right here says, rape apologist gets what he deserves. And it shows Matt getting the absolute shit beaten out of him. Let's just let it play a couple more times. We can keep watching it. I don't think anyone minds letting this loop on repeat. We could just let this go. If you want me to do this for the rest of the video, I could. I know the boy's messed up, but please understand.
Anyway, I said it loops back to what I said before, because somebody was like, why would people go on the internet and just tell such obvious lies? And one of my answers was because they don't have anybody in their life that holds them accountable. Would you talk to this guy? This guy will never talk to me, okay? These guys will never even be remotely in my orbit, okay? I am a lathe to people like this. And if they get too close, their bodies will get crushed and spit out in a half a second. And he knows it. So props to him for not being so stupid that he would ever jump in a call with me. I know he won't. Yo, this is literally Hassan merch, I think. This fucking hat. This guy will never talk to me. But I think that part of the reasons why people are so comfortable going on and just telling lies is because they've got people like this simp their lives. And when I say simp, I mean that in an agender sense. They'll simp for their guy friends, girlfriends, or whatever. It's because they don't have anybody holding them accountable. Oh my God, you said something happened to you? Yes, queen. Yes, king. I believe you 100%. I'll stand you. Yes, 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 yes. Like, yeah. So I think this guy is the reason why people like him are the reason why people feel so comfortable telling lies on the internet, because they always have relentless support no matter what.
A liar with an agenda, and they call her a liar with an agenda. Where do you guys think we're coming from? You think we're like a part of the Illuminati or something? I think my conclusion...
Except like almost literally, yeah, because you're admitting that she personally went to you, personally with the story, and that Leighton guy is literally tweeting out Chuck E. Cheese tweets before the fucking video is dropping from you, right? And it seems like Leighton is friends with all these... It literally is like some Illuminati shit. Yeah, actually, yeah. This guy said you use the N-word a lot. Okay. Another big YouTuber upset about your take. Who is this guy?
Why? Why would you ever care? Destiny is the main leader of...
Okay, no offense, but why would you ever care about what anybody says about you online, okay? There is not a good argument for anybody to care, okay?
This whole thing, and you know, with 250,000 views, not a lot of those are dislikes because he's the one leading the charge, saying that no one should be able to say cracker if you also can't say the N-word. And he frequently uses the N-word. If you look at his Twitter,
why do people say that he frequently uses the N-word? Why? I don't understand what it says. I say the N-word less than 10 times a week. I don't know where people get this idea that I say it all the fucking time. It's once a day at the most, and it really just depends on what city I'm in at any point in time.
To this is that SuperMega made some very rough mistakes in the past couple of years, and it seems like there was a lot of carelessness that snowballed into a problem that got too big for them to handle very quickly. At the very best, these aren't...
Why does this guy look like he just came from that fight? I'm sorry. He could have like an eye condition or whatever. I shouldn't have made that joke. I'm sorry. But I noticed that he looks like he still is like carrying that punch with him in his face over here. But he might have like some people have like bags and shit. I'm sorry. That was mean. It's narcolepsy. Yeah. He probably has like fucking cancer of like the eye socket. And now I just like, my bad.
Evil guys. They're just really, really dumb, and they don't really deserve to have the company and the team and the platform that to handle very quickly. At the very best, these aren't evil guys. They're just really, really dumb, and they don't really deserve to have the company and the team and the platform that they have with the way that they've handled it, especially because of the way they handled Don and how...
Look at how gross this fucking loser is, that he platforms a ton of false allegations when his job is covering this shit. What do you think this guy spends, like 30 minutes putting together these dog shit fucking YouTube videos? And then they call it content, they make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and now he's trying to say these guys don't deserve a platform when this guy couldn't have been bothered, been fucked with to do the bare modicum of research for his hit piece? Like, hey guys, so anyway, just got off Twitter complaining about how low effort content streaming is and about how much I hate streamers, but I did a whole bunch of research for this YouTube video, so let me read this Reddit post. Accusation 1, these guys are horrible. Accusation 2, these guys are horrible. Accusation 3, these guys are horrible. If you want to watch a video of him getting punched in the face to fill out time, here's the same thing for 20 seconds. Accusation 4. Like, You don't do anything. I feel like I did more research for my Keppel's Manifesto than this guy's done in the past 6 months on his fucking channel. Like, seriously?
They put several people in unforgivable circumstances, including many people who worked for them. They dropped the ball on people that they were supposedly like friends of, people that they supposedly cared for. I think it's sad any of this happened. I hope everyone takes some time away from the internet to think about how situations like these boil over and become as messy as they do.
Nothing is that messy or boiled over. You're just doing hit pieces, and now you're trying to tie every single negative thing they've ever done, like, into one video.
Someone puts out a response and people just decide to like hound the person who decided and was brave enough to put out her story in the first place.
What did she even put out the story for? What was even the fucking point?
Now she has to read comments every day of people telling her that she's wrong and that she lied about the whole thing and that Layden controlled her to do it. And I think that's it. That's probably the last time I'll cover this story.
Yeah, because you know how much you fucked up and were wrong on so many different fucking things.
I don't know. I feel like, you know, this shit isn't ever fun. I don't look forward to making.
This wasn't fun? You don't look forward to it? You weren't having fun here?
Matt getting the absolute shit beaten out of him. Let's just let it play a couple more times.
This wasn't fun for you? This is a sexual assault video, by the way. You disgusting fucking piece of shit, right?
Beaten out of him. Let's just let it play a couple more times.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. I'm sorry, I love all of you women out there, okay? Except for the ones that I fucking hate. I know so many fucking stories behind the scenes of creepy rapist fucking people that I no longer associate with, some of them, because of these reasons. I know so many of these random fucking stories of people, but like the women don't want to come forward because for a variety of reasons. They don't want to get all the public backlash. They don't want to lose opportunities in business. They don't want to blah, 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 blah. Here's so many of these fucking stories. So the fact that like some of the ones that start getting the public attention are literally just clout sharked, are literally just fucking losers like this guy trying to like outdo his other progressive friends and canceling people is so fucking disgusting. It is so fucking gross. It's such a, it wasn't fun making this video.
We can keep watching it. I don't think anyone minds letting this loop on repeat. We could just let this go. If you want me to do this for the rest of the video, I could.
Wow, so not fun. What a not fun video. So not, it reminds me of the, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when Levi's in the back. Doesn't he say like, oh, you were having so much fun before? What did he, did I make this up? Does he say that? Oh, you look like you were really enjoying yourself. He was. And now he's like, he was enjoying himself. And now he's like, you know.
Fun. I don't look forward to making videos like this. And it sucks that someone can talk for 48 minutes about their side of the story and then claim that people like me are trying to capitalize off of a sexual assault victim.
Bro, but you are. First of all, you're literally capitalizing on it. Well, hold on. I'm making an assumption right now. I'm making an assumption. I am making an assumption. Is this video monetized?
Hey, everyone.
Maybe there are no, I don't know how to check if there are ads in the video. So maybe the video is not monetized, so I'll be careful there. Maybe it's not. But you are still capitalizing on the clout, the subscriber farming, and the fun of showing the fucking video.
So hopefully they both take some reflection and just maybe leave for a second. Okay, I think that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, watch the videos I linked down below. Look at the story for yourself.
Yeah, I don't know if videos with warnings, they might get auto demonetized, I'm not sure.
Tell me how you feel in the comments. Thanks for watching.
He also never shows any proof of people attacking Lex over this. I mean, I'm sure they're there in the comments, but yeah. I think a lot of people just don't like to show proof at all. It's just they kind of like make stories and then go. But again, which is also like, no offense, or actually take offense, I'm sorry, fuck you YouTubers. Because now if YouTubers are gonna attack me on my job, and I do feel attacked as a React streamer, if you're gonna attack me on my job, then I'm gonna attack you on your job, okay? You can call me a React streamer if you want to, that's fine. You can say that React streaming is lazy, that's fine, but you're a React YouTuber, which is arguably even worse, right? Because it doesn't even look like you're doing much work or research for any of these fucking videos. If you're putting all this work into your fucking videos, then show me a source document, show me some links. Link some fucking tweets, link some fucking text, do some fucking research, do some fucking homework. If you want to be so much better than me, if you want to fucking high road me on this, on the React shit or whatever, then yeah, show me some homework for your fucking hit pieces at least. Not just you straight reading a fucking Reddit accusation post. Jesus. Well. We've missed you guys. We know that you all understand a lot of questions about the future of SuperMega. We're going to take a moment to give an answer. First, what's the future? Well, to rip off the band-aid, the truth is that we do not have any definitive plans one way or another about the future of SuperMega. We've been asking ourselves many of the same questions. We've been asking us whether fast would not be right for us to continue to put new content on the channel. Genuinely, oh, jeez. So they're done. Good job. You did it, guys. Hooray. You won.